Oh, okay. So maybe it worked. I'm not sure, but we're going to hope that it did. And if it did, great. If it doesn't, whatever. I don't even really care. Sorry, YouTube, but you're not meeting up to my expectations, okay? Oh, shoot. Hold on. I don't want my. Okay, so I could see my camera in the back. I don't want my camera on. We don't need that. We don't need that. You can just see this. This is the avatar you're getting today. And I put it down here out of respect for men. There, I said it like that. You freaks. Sorry, Jesus. Oh my God, sorry, Jesus. I'm sorry, Jesus. You guys, listen. I've gotten halfway through this Constitution and I cannot imagine what else it says because it's pretty bad. I don't care what anybody says. I'm no filtering this stuff. It's bad. You guys, they blame us for basically everything that's wrong with the world. Just so you know. True story. So let's get into it because, like I said, I was in shock when I actually, let me see if I can pull up the file. Yes, I can. Oh, I was going to, you know what I was going to do is I was going to pull it up. Here we go, videos. Captures? Yeah, here we go. Here it is. So there's a couple of versions of this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read along with the version that I actually have behind the scenes. And then I'm going to pull up another version and have it read. Have it read to you. I actually did a video with my voice. But, that it's kind of weird. But anyways, I mean, I could play that. It's probably a little bit better. You know what? I can play at least the first 17 minutes of it. Oh, you guys, I crack myself up. It's so bad. Okay, wait, maybe I'm not. I think it'll be too, I didn't practice with that one. So let's practice with this one because I tried to make sure that my sound, wait, oh my God, I'm going to freak out okay, yeah. I just wanted to make sure that my sound was working for you guys properly today. So that, because I really want people to hear this stuff. I really never knew how much they hate us. Okay. It is what it is. I don't want to say Iranians. Well, you know what? Let's just read the Constitution that Iran has. And you decide. How about that? You know what? Yeah. I like that idea. Hold on. I don't know why my darn computer just started acting like it was I made some markers here too, so let's see. Let's see. What was it? Green. Here, wait. What is it? Iranian Constitution. There's so much that has gone into. I mean, let's just look at the past. 50 years. We'll say 50 years. What? 1970s. Just, it's bad, you guys. Okay, so I went to this place called the Constitution what is it? No, that's not it. Let me find it. Yeah, it's called the Constitution of the Islamic Republic of Iran. However, that's not what I'm looking for. Why is it doing that? Oh, here we go. This is why. This is where I want it to be. Okay, so Copilot. You know what? That's not where I found it, is it? Is that where I found it? I don't think so. This one reads it, and you know what? Doesn't read it is freaking. What is this? That's not what I want. Is the Google search or the Google bar doesn't read it, so that's probably what. Let me do that. Rainy in Constitution. Here we go. It's called the constituteproject.org. Actually, you know what? I'll put this. Because I don't think it'll read. Yeah, no, it doesn't do it. It doesn't do it in the Google browser, but it does it in the Microsoft or in the Edge browser. So it's pretty cool. That's why I kind of I don't like Edge really much at all, but Microsoft, it's just, they're so intrusive. They just have all this commotion on this page, and it's just kind of annoying, honestly. Is this big enough for you guys? What do you think? You guys tell me. Let me see. Is that big enough? I can make it bigger. Want that bigger? Hold on, let me make it bigger. There you go. This is good, huh? Yeah? That's great. Let's do it. Okay. You guys are going to be shocked. And I am going to stop a few times because there's some terms that I just don't know, or I have no knowledge of some of this stuff, and I'm going to guess. Neither do you either, because it's not like you studied this. And if you have, I dare you to say something in chat. And I know you won't, because you never do, because Rumble doesn't chat. And that's okay. Hey, listen. Oh, wait. Farmer Fred. Hi. How are you, Farmer Fred? He's over there. Let her rip. Okay, we got to know more about this Iran stuff, right? We got to know, why do they scream death to America? I wasn't really sure about a lot of stuff, but boy, one thing led to another, and that's where I'm going to take you on all of my little rabbit trails today. And, I literally had to stop myself from digging deeper, because I was like, if I start digging now, I'll never remember all of this. And I really want to share it. And so I said, if I do this, I'm going to do it live. And we're going to pretty much dig around live, because we got to do it. Right? We got to do it. Anyways. Okay. So let's get this thing read. Read aloud. Here we go.
Preamble. God or other deities. Political theorists / figures. Show more. Reference to country's history.
That's not what I want. Stop.
This is the
side.
In the name of Allah, the compassionate, the merciful. We sent afore-time our apostles with clear signs, and sent down with them the book and the balance that men may uphold justice. 57:25. The Constitution of the Islamic Republic of Iran sets forth the cultural, social, political, and economic institutions of Iranian society on the basis of Islamic principles and norms, which represent the honest aspiration of the Islamic Ummah. This basic aspiration was made explicit by the...
Oh, I forgot, you guys. I messed up. I'm sorry. It's probably echoing. I just realized that, because I'm supposed to mute myself. So let me fix that. I apologize. I can't believe I did it again. Oh, you guys, I suck. You know what? Whatever. It is what it is. I suck at this. But we'll get it. Okay, so I'm going to mute myself while this reads this, because otherwise it echoes, and I can't figure that part out quite yet. But I do know a way to fix that. Actually, I'm glad it stopped right there, because I do want to discuss that part. What it mentioned was the Islamic Ummah. Well, what's that? I didn't know. So what did I do? I went in here and I was like, let's go to Chat GPT, the free version. I almost want to get the paid version. No joke. What is... Oh, no, that's not what I want. What was it called? Islamic Ummah. I don't... Oops. I just highlighted it. Here we go. What is... I want to spell it right. There we go. Okay. The Islamic Ummah refers to the global community of Muslims. Oh, so Muslims around the world who are united by their faith in Islam, similar to like what Christians are. We are, I guess, Christians. They would be Islamic Ummah, or I guess refers to a global community of Muslims who are united by their faith in Islam. See, we have faith in God. As Christians, so that's we have a Christian God, and so they have something that is the term Ummah itself means community or nation in Arabic. All Muslims, regardless of race, nationality, or culture, are considered part of one spiritual and moral community because they follow the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Look, they can't even say his name without saying peace be upon him. And believe in Allah God. Okay, religious bond. The primary bond of the Ummah is religious, not ethnic or political. So, like the uber Christians, there's probably uber Muslim, right? Muslims around the world share core beliefs such as the 5 pillars of Islam, the Quran, and the Sunnah, traditions of the Prophet. Which one? Muhammad? Just the one? They've only had one? All right, you know what? The concept of the Ummah is rooted in the Quran. For example, indeed, this, your Ummah, is one Ummah. I guess like your family or your community is one family, maybe. One community, your community is one community, your nation is one nation. I am your Lord, so worship me. I'm your Lord, so worship me. Yeah, I'm going to guess he didn't say it like that. I'm just saying. Okay? Anyway, whatever. I could be wrong. Probably not. I don't know, man. I don't know about all that. But anyways, sorry. It's okay. So where are we at? All Muslims, regardless of race, nationality, culture, are considered part of one spiritual and moral community because they follow the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and believe in Allah, God. Okay, so they all look at that. Every time they put the name, the Prophet Muhammad, they say peace be upon him. That's going to take a while. Okay, so where are we? The religious bond Ummah, 5 pillars, historical. In the time of the Prophet Muhammad, the first Ummah was established in Medina. Okay. Yeah, so I started doing some more research, and I realized something that I didn't know before, and I think it was just the Holy Spirit trying to tell me what was going on and how I should look at this, or how I like there's a message in here for everybody, and however you choose to take it, totally up to you. But I'm going to tell you what I understood from the message that I received, or how I seen it and how I perceived this. but I needed to do more research because the movie that I wanted you guys to watch, is Persia, which is technically, I guess, it's Iran right now. And they're very oppressive of the women there. And you wouldn't think it because it actually has a paragraph in their constitution in regards to the women in Iran or whatever. What does it say? It's the dawn of the movement. We're going to get back to this because it's so good. But I have to stop on a couple of things because you guys are going to be shocked at what you hear next. Okay, so now that we have understood one of the terms, whenever they start saying the Islamic Ummah, that means the community, and that's what it means, the nation or the community, but it's a global community. Okay, so once you believe this way, if you believe this way, and then you believe in the Iranian constitution like this is telling. There, that's a great word for it. It's telling. Let's continue.
Very nature of the great Islamic revolution of Iran, as well as the course of the Muslim people's struggle, from its beginning until victory, as reflected in the decisive and forceful slogans raised by all segments of the populations. Now, at the threshold of this great victory, our nation, with all its being, seeks its fulfillment.
Sorry, hold on, let me pause
of this revolution, which distinguishes it from other movements that have taken place in Iran during the past 100 years, is its ideological and Islamic nature. After experiencing the anti-despotic constitutional movement and the anti-colonialist movement centered on the nationalization of the oil industry, the Muslim people of Iran learned from this costly experience that the obvious and fundamental reason for the failure of those movements was their lack of an ideological basis. Although the Islamic line of thought and the direction provided by militant religious leaders played an essential role in the recent movements, nonetheless, the struggles waged in the course of those movements quickly fell into stagnation due to departure from genuine Islamic positions.
You see what she's saying? She was just saying? They got away from their core beliefs as Islamists, as Muslims. And so let's listen to this very closely, you guys. You have to listen to this very closely because right here, what she's saying is they nationalized the oil industry, that they were making money hand over fist. They were rich. Okay. There. They were rich. In fact, I almost want to stop and show you this one little video. It's like 2 minutes. I might do that before we get to the dawn of the movement or when it starts to talk about these movements. I had to go and start looking them up. I was like, what are they talking about? It's before my time, really, you guys. Well, some of it is. Well, maybe it's not, but whatever. I was too little to know. Anyways, let's continue this a little bit. I'll mute myself. You guys got to remind me to mute myself when this is playing. Otherwise, it's going to echo, okay? Yep, that's exactly right. It's exactly. They still have a lot of revenue from oil. Yeah, and they do. And this is their goal. This is what has made this country rich. But they believe that they only need to produce what they're going to use. And that's explained here in the Constitution. It actually has a whole segment, and it's actually coming up. So let's read through. Let's go through some of these, and I just want to point out a few things as we go through it, because we're going to look up a few of these. I highlighted a few things. But it says that they fell into that stagnation due to the departure from genuine Islamic positions. Thus, it was that awakened the conscience of the nation. Okay, so people started growing. They started feeling guilty. They had, they wanted to be closer to God, and they wanted to serve, well, I guess Allah, not God, but Allah. I don't know what Allah is to them. I don't believe it's, honestly, I think that this is a jumping off of old Hebrew stuff. I'm just saying. I mean, it goes on. I did a lot of research, and they're talking about these people, oh my God. You know what? I'm going to let them tell you. How about that? It's actually in here, and it's the only reason that I even know this stuff. But Aryan race, you know where that term comes from? Guess where? You guys, I'm telling you. Oh, anyways, okay. So let's. I'm sorry. I get really excited about this. Anyways,
positions. Thus it was that the awakened conscience of the nation, under the leadership of the eminent Marji al-Taqlid, Ayatollah al-Azma Imam Khomeini, came to perceive the necessity of pursuing an authentically Islamic and ideological line in its struggles. And this time, the militant ulama of the country, who had always been in the forefront of popular movements, together with the committed...
What's a militant ulama? I don't know. I have no idea. Religious scholars. Okay. Militant ulama. So they are militant religious scholars who actively engage in political resistance, armed struggle, or militant activism, often justified through Islamic teachings. This contrasts with the more traditional role of the ulama as scholars, jurists, and teachers focused on Islamic law, Sharia law, theology, and spiritual guidance. Okay, so characteristics of militant ulama, whatever. You heard it. You know. Do I need to? You're good? Okay, good. Religious justification for resistance. And so you guys, you have to understand this. They are justified in their minds for these honor killings that you guys have heard of. They often frame political or military action as jihad, usually in the context of defense against oppression, colonialism, or perceived injustice. Now, you've got to listen to more of this constitution of their little republic that they voted for this. The people voted this in because of their conscience. Okay? They actually voted in an Ayatollah to be the supreme leader of their country. In 1979, it was basically the Ayatollah overthrew their government. That's basically in a nutshell what this is. But let's continue listening to this because it gets really good. It starts to mention us in America.
Iran, Islamic Republic of 1979, Rev 1989. Preamble. God or other deities. Iranian society on the basis of Islamic principles and norms, which represent the earnest
Are you kidding
cultural
me?
and economic dependence.
Are you guys kidding me? Did I just hit the wrong button? Good thing. Oh, here we go. I'm awful, you guys. We're right about here, right above the dawn of the movement. And I can't even find the term. Muslim nation, Muslim people, spotted. Oh, here's another term I didn't know. What despotic meant. I've never heard. Oh, I've never heard this term before. Have you? What's it mean? Where's hate your state when you need him? He knows every term there is. Despotic. We're looking it up. Oh, that's not what I wanted. What is it? Despotic. Is that how it's spelled? Oops. Refers to a style of absolute oppressive and often tyrannical rule by a single person or authority. It comes from the word despot, which originally meant a ruler with absolute power, but in modern usage almost always has negative connotations. Okay, so let's get to that part where he starts talking about the stagnation due to the departure from the Islamic positions. We're going to restart there because I talk too much, and yeah, because I just there. It is what it is. Okay, so this is got a lot of names in it that the other version that I'm reading doesn't have, so that's why I kind of chose to put this one up here rather than the other one. It's just more detailed in this one, so I thought, oh well, these guys have constitutions from a lot of different countries, and so that's why I was like, okay, you know what, let's check this out. This is what they are doing, and they have something going on. I don't know what they're researching on all of this stuff. Militant religious leaders. I can't believe that. The Islamic Ummah. Anyways, let's start there. If it will pick up where I left off, I don't even know.
Dependence of Iran on world imperialism brought into being a united movement of the people and, immediately afterwards, a momentous revolution of the Muslim nation in the month of Qardad, 1342, June 1963. Although this revolution was drowned in blood, in reality it heralded the beginning of the blossoming of a glorious and massive uprising, which confirmed the central role of Imam Khomeini as an Islamic leader. Despite his exile from Iran after his protest against the humiliating law of capitulation, which provided legal immunity for American advisors, the firm bond between the Imam and the people endured, and the Muslim nation. Particularly committed intellectuals and militant ulama continued their struggle in the face of banishment and imprisonment, torture and execution. Throughout this time, the conscious and responsible segment of society was bringing enlightenment to the people from the strongholds of the mosques, centers of religious...
Okay, sorry, I unmuted myself too soon. But these guys are setting you up in this. This is still a story. This is their preamble. I believe still. And this is the story that they're telling. And reminding you that this is the Ayatollah telling you this story. Okay? He was being repressed because of his religion. Right? If you understood what he believed, you might freaking wonder why they exiled him. I'm just saying, you know what? Whatever. They exiled this guy for decades. And then he came back with a revolution and overthrew the Iranian government. No joke. And this is the story that they're telling you. And they blame us in America when they really should be blaming the Brits, honestly, to be honest. No offense, guys, but totally true. And I haven't looked up this Fayyadiyya Madrasa from Tehran University. I haven't even looked that up yet. I don't even know if I got time for that.
Religious teaching and universities. Drawing inspiration from the revolutionary and fertile teachings of Islam, they began the unrelenting yet fruitful struggle of raising the level of ideological awareness and revolutionary consciousness of the Muslim people. The despotic regime, which had begun the suppression of the Islamic movement with barbaric attacks on the Faidiyya Madrasa, Tehran University, and all other active centers of revolution, in an effort to evade the revolutionary anger of the people, resorted to the most savage and brutal measures. And in these circumstances, execution by firing squads, endurance of medieval tortures, and long terms of imprisonment were the price our Muslim nation had to pay to prove its firm resolve to continue the struggle. The Islamic Revolution of Iran was nurtured by the blood of hundreds of young men and women infused with faith, who raised their cries of Allahu Akbar at daybreak in execution yards, or were gunned down by the enemy in streets and marketplaces. Meanwhile, the continuing declarations and messages of the Imam that were issued on various occasions extended and deepened the consciousness and determination of the Muslim nation to the utmost. Islamic government. The plan of the Islamic government based upon Wilayat al-Faqih, as proposed by Imam Khomeini at the height of the period of repression and strangulation practiced by the despotic regime, produced a new specific and streamlined motive for the Muslim people, opening up before them the true path of Islamic ideological struggle and giving greater intensity to the struggle of militant and committed Muslims both within the country and abroad. The movement continued on this course until finally popular dissatisfaction and intense rage of the public caused by the constantly increasing repression at home, and the projection of the struggle at the international level after exposure of the regime by the ulama and militant students shook the foundations of the regime violently. The regime and its sponsors were compelled to decrease the intensity of repression and to liberalize the political atmosphere of the country. This, they imagined, will serve as a safety valve which would prevent their eventual downfall. But the people, aroused, conscious, and resolute under the decisive and unfaltering leadership of the Imam, embarked on a triumphant, unified, comprehensive, and countrywide uprising. The wrath of the people. The publication of an outrageous article
Are you guys hearing the same thing? Do I need to slow it down at all? Oh my gosh. You guys, this is serious business. This is ridiculous. You know what? Let's just listen up, because there's a lot more to this it gets even better. It gets better. Well, I gotta mute myself first. Hold on.
meant to malign the revered ulama, and in particular, Imam Khomeini on 15 Day, 1356, January 7, 1978, by the ruling regime accelerated the revolutionary.
Okay, so they probably count time differently. I'm going to guess that they count time according to Muhammad. I'm going to guess that that's what I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't know how they count their years, what their Islamic calendar is. I don't know. Just like the Jewish calendar. I don't know what year it is, like 57 something. I don't know. But everybody equates it to American time, which is the Christian clock. Okay. It's the time. Remember Reagan? No. 1978 is the time. Remember. Yeah, I remember Reagan. Yep, I remember when he was president.
Revolutionary movement and caused an outburst of popular outrage across the country. The regime attempted to quell the volcano of the people's anger by drowning the protest and uprising in blood, but the bloodshed only quickened the pulse rate of the revolution. The seventh day and
So this idiot president, whoever he was at the time, decided that all these revolutions, that he was going to basically make them martyrs. That's exactly what he did, because he started killing people who resisted their way of life there. But it was a more free society. I think women could actually be educated back then. I don't know for sure, but we could go and look. But I do believe that before the oppression came with the Ayatollah, who overthrew their government and made himself the supreme leader. Well, it was voted in by the people, and the people voted to make him the supreme leader. I wonder what they would do if they said no more of the Ayatollah being the supreme leader. What would they do? They blame that kind of stuff. They blame basically all sin on us, on the West.
And 40th day commemorations of the martyrs of the revolution, like a series of steady heartbeats,
Stop,
greater vitality, intensity.
Echo, sorry, hold on.
Intensity, vigor, and solidarity to this movement all over the country. In the course of this popular movement, the employees of all government establishments took an active part in the effort to overthrow the tyrannical regime by calling a general strike and participating in street demonstrations. The widespread solidarity of men and women of all segments of society and of all political and religious factions played a clearly determining role in the struggle. Especially the women were actively and massively present in a most conspicuous manner at all stages of this great struggle. The common sight of mothers with infants in their arms rushing towards the scene of battle and in front of the barrels of machine guns indicated the essential and decisive role played by this major segment of society in the struggle. The price the nation paid. After slightly more than a year of continuous and unrelenting struggle, the sapling of the revolution, watered by the blood of more than 60,000 martyrs and 100,000 wounded and disabled, not to mention billions of Chuman's worth of property damage, came to bear fruit amidst the cries of
I don't know what a Tumen is. Is that their money? Is that what their money is? Hold on. Is that money? Toman, a historical unit of currency and a measure of value that has been used in various regions, particularly in Persia, Iran, and parts of Central Asia. The word Tuman has different meanings depending on historical context, but is most often associated with Persian-speaking areas. Okay, so basically we've established it is basically money. Billions of money. Billions of dollars. I don't know how many tumens to $1, but we're just going to say lots. I got to mute myself. See, I'm remembering better, you guys.
Iran, Islamic Republic of 1979, Rev 1989. Preamble. God or other deities. Political theorists/figures. Show more. Reference to country's history. Show more. Political theorists/figures. Political theorists/figures. Show more. Motives for writing and Islam. Arrive from the interests of a class, nor does it serve the domination.
Where did I just leave off, you guys? Oh, the tumens. Here it is. Okay, now.
Iran, Islamic
Damn it.
Republic of
No,
1979.
stop. Bastards. I guess I can't switch. Every time I leave the page, it starts over. So I'm going to stop doing that, I guess. You guys, it's supposed to be like 35 pages. I'll let it stop. We're going to listen to this. And then, no, we're not. We're gonna try to listen to this. That's more like it, right? This is the actual Constitution. Ding dong. Where is that thing? I'm looking for Tumen. Tumen, millions. Tumen. I passed it, didn't I? Millions and millions and millions. Oh, you know what? I can look on this one. The society struggle, blah, 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 blah. Independent. Here it is. Okay. Sensitive. Freedom, faith, independence, sacrifice, can bear fruit amidst the cries of independence. Oh my God, you guys. So the monarchical, new system. I lost it, you guys. What the fuck? That's okay. I gotta listen to this part anyways. We're going to start right here. The price the nation paid. This is what they blame us. They literally blame us for this. Yeah, let's start this. Let's start right here. Why won't this? I'm hoping. All right.
Iran, Islamic Republic of 19. Preamble. God. Show more. Political.
I can't do it again.
Show more. Duty to show more. Right to work. Status of religious law. Show more. Human dignity. Type of government envisioned. God. Endurance of medieval tortures and long terms of imprisonment were the price our Muslim nation had to pay to prove its firm resolve to continue the struggle. The Islamic Revolution of Iran was nurtured by the blood of hundreds of young men and women infused with faith, who raised their cries of Allahu Akbar at daybreak in execution yards, or were gunned down by the enemy in streets and marketplaces. Meanwhile, the continuing declarations and messages of the Imam that were issued on various occasions extended and deepened the consciousness and determination of the Muslim nation to the utmost. Islamic government. The plan of the Islamic government based upon Walayat al-Faqih, as proposed by Imam Khomeini at the height of the period of repression and strangulation.
Yeah, when I heard that name too, I was like, did that just say what I think it said? Ah, fuck it. Yeah. No, it's not OBS. I'm not using OBS. That's just it. I'm only using StreamYard. And so I'm presenting my screen with that, but I have my mic on, and I'm actually here, but I don't, yeah, I mean, I'm here. You know what? My sound is better when I mute myself a smidge. Oh, okay. How's that? Is that better? Is that better? Okay, good. Okay, good. All right. So I have to mute myself whenever this plays, otherwise it echoes. Because I don't know how to do anything else because I suck. I need a technical advisor. Pablo. You guys left me to my own devices. That's okay though. Let's listen to this. It's getting good, you guys. This is where they start blaming America. No joke.
Strangulation practiced by the despotic regime produced a new specific and streamlined motive for the Muslim people, opening up before them the true path of Islamic ideological struggle, and giving greater intensity to the struggle of militant and committed Muslims, both within the country and abroad. The movement continued on this
within the country and abroad. And abroad. People, are we listening? Are we listening to this? Yeah. I'm just saying.
This course until finally popular dissatisfaction and intense rage of the public caused by the constantly increasing repression at home and the projection of the struggle at the international level after exposure of the regime by the ulama and militant students shook the foundations of the regime violently. The regime and its sponsors were compelled to decrease the intensity of repression and to liberalize the political atmosphere of the country. This, they imagined, will serve as a safety valve which would prevent their eventual downfall. But the people, aroused, conscious, and resolute under the decisive and unfaltering leadership of the Imam, embarked on a triumphant, unified, comprehensive, and countrywide uprising. The wrath of the people. The publication of an outrageous article meant to malign the revered ulama, and in particular Imam Khomeini on 15 Day, 1356, January 7, 1978, by the ruling regime accelerated the revolutionary movement and caused an outburst of popular outrage across the country.
You hear what she's saying? She's saying that there was an outrageous publication, an article that was written, I'm guessing by the Newsies, that was meant to basically talk crap about the ulama, which is basically, didn't we look that up? We already looked that up. What was that? I'm not going to change this out, but the Islamic ulama, oh crap. I can't change out of this thing. Otherwise, oh, I know. What was it? What did I say it was? Ulama. Shoot. Oops. Is the Islamic scholars, okay? Who are knowledgeable in Islamic doctrine and law, okay? So that's who the ulama is, okay? Somebody was shit talking them, okay? So this is what happened. Somebody's doing that, and they were like, so people were like, well, you can't do that. And so they start to stand up for the ulama, for these scholars that were knowledge in doctrine and law. I mean, that's all they did. That was their thing. That's what they studied. That was whatever. But anyways, somebody was bad talking them in the newsies, I'm guessing. I wonder if we can read that. I bet you we can find that. for another day. That's a rabbit trail, not for today. Anyways, let's continue to listen to this because I just wanted to point that out. Ooh, the ulama. Yeah, the ulama. No, you're right. No, this is the preamble. This is the preamble. Love bug, this is the preamble. Listen.
Country. The regime attempted to quell the volcano of the people's anger by drowning the protest and uprising in blood, but the bloodshed only quickened the pulse rate of the revolution. The 7th day and 40th day commemorations of the martyrs.
Doesn't it sound like a high schooler wrote it? Minus all the terms I don't know because they're all from that side of the world. But whatever. I'm just saying. What a picture they're painting for us. Just like our preamble, huh?
Martyrs of the Revolution, like a series of steady heartbeats, gave greater vitality, intensity, vigor, and solidarity to this movement all over the country. In the course of this popular movement, the employees of all government establishments took an active part in the effort to overthrow the tyrannical regime by calling a general strike and participating in street demonstrations. The widespread solidarity of men and women of all segments of society and of all political and religious factions played a clearly determining role in the struggle.
So the people and even the government workers got pissed off because they were shit talking the ulamas. Yeah, this is what's happened. That's what happened back in 1978. Some articles were written to malign the revered ulama and in particular Imam Khomeini. All of a sudden, he rode that wave. He rode that wave straight to Supreme Leader the following year. Yeah, I'm just saying. Oh, sorry. Am I being too loud again? I get when I get really excited, I get loud. And I don't mean to, but I do. So deal with it. Just you back up. You telling me, hey, you know what? There's this meme out there. You know what it says? Let me find it for you. I'm not going to water myself down for you. You can choke. I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's because I'm too close to it. That's why. Anyways, okay. Pablo. Anyways, all right. You guys got to hear the rest of this. This is actually pretty good because it gets really good. And so even the government, all the people got mad because they were shit talking the scholars, right? So, but they don't know what they're getting themselves into because all of a sudden they push this Ayatollah. We're going to live this way. We're going to live more religiously, and the society had decided to do it. They freely decided to go ahead and overthrow their own government to do that. And yeah, the Ayatollah, that's hi. How are you, Rainbow? Wait. Well, looky, you and your anime and saying passing through. Hi, see you, Gina. We'll see you later. Rainbow Melon. Have a good night, hon. Who is it? The Ayatollah is a good dude? Oh, God. Okay. And the White Revolution? Huh? That too? Huh? And his beard, huh? Okay. Let's continue this.
Especially the women were actively and massively present in a most conspicuous manner at all stages of this great struggle. The common sight of mothers with infants in their arms rushing towards the scene of battle and in front of the barrels of machine guns indicated the essential and decisive role played by this major segment of society in the struggle.
Okay, so they're at this, but you say that you want a revolution. Well, you know, we all want to change the world. No, I don't want a revolution. I'm not saying that. This is, we're reading the Iranian Constitution, or the Constitution of the Republic of Iran. Oh, what the hell? What's it called? It's the Iranian Constitution. It's their PDF. This is the preamble. And this is interesting. Here we go. Listen to this part. I gotta mute myself. Hold on. Wait, what I find interesting is they start talking about the ladies. Can I tell you, when women get sick and tired of waiting for men to do shit, they start to figure do shit themselves. True story. They just start doing shit themselves. They're like, you know what? I ain't waiting for you. I'll go out there. I'll fight with you. I'll do it. So that's how, like, a lot of women during the whole COVID thing thought that our men turned into a bunch of pussies. True story. Very true story. And I'm just saying it like that. Fucking don't get me started. Because you guys, men won't even want to talk to me after that. I don't have the actual document. This is it. It's the same thing. Go Google it, love bug. It's all over the internet. This is their constitution, ding dong. This is the preamble. We're getting to it. This is still the preamble stuff. This is their constitution. You think that it's not? It is. It is. I don't know why you think that it's not, because it's not in the way that ours is. It's not written like ours is. They're Iranians. Half the people don't even read and write. Okay? Because they're not allowed. Sorry, it's frustrating. They're not even allowed to read and write. Women. God forbid, you could tell a woman anything. If she can't read the Quran, she can't even read. Don't get me started. That's how they keep you a slave. Not learning to read, not learning to communicate. You need to be able to communicate. Good Lord. I mean, it's not rocket science. Good Lord. People aren't just, they're looking at the surface and they're not understanding everything that goes into this, why they got to this. What was happening is that the Iranian president was like, no, you guys don't want this Ayatollah. You don't want it to be ruled this way. There's not how you want this. But I'm going to guess people were getting, there was a sociological divide. So what this is saying is that the Ayatollah is into what they would call social justice. As soon as you see something bad happening, you have the right, according to Islamic law, to Sharia, you have the right to take care of it for Allah, to make things right. It goes on to say this. Here we go. Oh, wait, I gotta mute myself.
Struggle. The price the nation paid. After slightly more than a year of continuous and unrelenting struggle, the sapling of the revolution, watered by the blood of more than 60,000 martyrs and 100,000 wounded and disabled, not to mention billions of Chuman's worth of property damage, came to bear fruit amidst the cries of independence, freedom, Islamic government. This great movement, which attained victory through reliance upon faith, unity, and the decisiveness of its leadership at every critical and sensitive juncture, as well as the self-sacrificing spirit of the people, succeeded in upsetting all the calculations of imperialism and destroying all its connections and institutions, thereby opening a new chapter in the history of all-embracing popular revolutions of the world. Bahman 21 and 22, 1357, February 12th and 13th, 1979, witnessed the collapse of the monarchical regime, domestic tyranny and foreign domination, both of which were based upon it, were shattered. This great success proved to be the vanguard of Islamic government, a long-cherished desire of the Muslim people, and brought with it the glad tidings of final victory. Unanimously, and with the participation of the Maraji, al-Taqlid, the ulama of Islam, and the leadership, the Iranian people declared their final and firm decision in the referendum on the Islamic Republic to bring about a new political system, that of the Islamic Republic. A 98.2% majority of the people voted for the system, the Constitution of the Islamic Republic of Iran, setting forth as it does the political, social, cultural, and economic institutions and their relations that are to exist in society, must now provide for the consolidation of the foundations of Islamic government and propose the plan of a new system of government to be erected on the ruins of the previous Tughudi order. The form of government in Islam. In the view of Islam, government does not derive from the interests of a class, nor does it serve the domination of an individual or a group. It represents rather the crystallization of the political ideal of a people who bear a common faith and common outlook, taking an organized form in order to initiate the process of intellectual and ideological evolution towards the final goal, i.e., movement towards Allah.
So that's what they intended to do, is to grow closer to Allah as a nation. They voted 98%. So something came over them to do this. But what ended up happening is when you give somebody this much power, the Ayatollah ran with it, just like the Vatican. I'm just saying. It's just like the Vatican, you know? They rule Vatican City, right? They rule. They're in charge. What's wrong with being a Christian nation here in America? Why would they want to come into the Christian nation if they're all about Islamic? If they're an Islamic Ummah, that means they're global, no matter where they are. They want this, and then they have the right to carry out whatever sentence they see fit as a social justice warrior right on the street. Okay? How does that make you feel? Safe?
Allah, our nation, in the course of its revolutionary developments, has cleansed itself of the dust and impurities that accumulated during the Tughudi past and purged itself of foreign ideological influences, returning to authentic intellectual standpoints and worldview of Islam. It now intends to establish an ideal and model society on the basis of Islamic norms. The mission of the Constitution is to realize the ideological objectives of the movement and to create conditions conducive to the development of man in accordance with the noble and universal values of Islam. With due attention to the Islamic content of the Iranian Revolution, which has been a movement aimed at the triumph of all the Musta'afin over the Mustakbirin, the Constitution provides the necessary basis for ensuring the continuation of the revolution at home and abroad. In particular,
What? At home and abroad. Funny. I didn't think they let broads do anything. Just kidding. It's a joke. Might never mind. I thought it was funny. But you know what I'm saying? Like, come on. They're telling us, look, we're going wherever we go. We're bound by our faith to right the wrongs. Just so you know.
Particular, in the development of international relations, the Constitution will strive with other Islamic and popular movements to prepare the way for the formation of a single world community, in accordance with the Quranic verse. This your community is a single community, and I am your Lord. So worship me 21 hours 92 minutes, and to assure the continuation of the struggle for the liberation of all deprived and oppressed peoples in the world. With due attention to the essential character of this great movement.
No. First of all, I am your Lord, so worship me. God doesn't say it like that. First of all, I you know what? I can't. It just angers me when I see this, and this is supposed to be holy. That's holy? So worship me. I'm your Lord, so worship me. No, that's not how that works. I am that I am, okay? There's the 10 Commandments. They shall not have no other gods besides me. Hey. Right? But come on. I'm going to say, if you leave out the so, then we're good. I'm good. But once you put that so in there, no. That is this. Sorry, Jesus, the way that I feel, how this was written, it is not God inspired, but it is. You know what? Let me say it like this. It's not the ultimate one true God who says that. That's an offshoot of the one true God, okay? Which doesn't make it right. I'm just saying. That's my own personal opinion, but that's how I read that. So maybe they should just take out that word so. But they don't. They leave it in.
Movement, the Constitution guarantees the rejection of all forms of intellectual and social tyranny and economic monopoly, and aims at entrusting the destinies of the people to the people themselves in order to break completely with the system of oppression. This is in accordance with the Quranic verse, he removes from them their burdens and the fetters that were upon them, 7:157. In creating, on the basis of ideological outlook, the political infrastructures and institutions that are the foundation of society, the righteous will assume the responsibility of governing and administering the country. In accordance with the Quranic verse, verily my righteous servants shall inherit the earth, 21:105. Legislation setting forth regulations for the administration of society will revolve around the Quran and the Sunnah. Accordingly, the exercise of meticulous and earnest supervision by just, pious, and committed scholars of Islam, al-fuqaha, al-udal, is an absolute necessity. In addition, the aim of government is to foster the growth of man in such a way that he progresses towards the establishment of a divine order, in accordance with the Quranic phrase, and toward God is the journeying 328. And to create favorable conditions for the emergence and blossoming of man's innate capacities, so that the theomorphic dimensions of the human being are manifested, in accordance with the injunction.
What? Theomorphic God-changing dimensions? Is that what that means? I'm just going with the way that the word looks. I don't know what that word is. I don't know what theomorphic means. The term theomorphic dimensions isn't a standard, universally recognized concept. However, it can be understood in two main ways. Drawing on related concepts. Firstly, it could refer to dimensions of human experience shaped by a divine image, okay, theomorphism, as explored in theological anthropology. Secondly, it might relate to exploring dimensions of consciousness and reality that are considered to be more deeply connected to the divine or spiritual realms. So I was right. So it's so funny because if you understand the root of the words, you can kind of figure it out. So I find that interesting. I'm getting pretty good at it. You are Rami. Holy schmoligans. Next philosophy. Oh God. Okay. No, this is. Listen. Just listen. We're coming up to chapter 1.
Iran, Islamic Republic of 1979, Rev 1989. Preamble. God or other deities, political theorists/figures. It delivered.
You see what she did? She was almost smirking that I lost my spot, you guys. Ha! Where did I leave off? You know what? Economy. Did we get to this? Shoot. No, we didn't. You know what? We're going to skip to this. We're going to skip to women in the Constitution. Let's start there.
Iran, Islamic Republic of 1979, Rev 1989. Preamble. God or other deities, political theorists/figures. The Islamic nation. And the formation and equipping of the country's woman in the Constitution. Through the creation of Islamic social infrastructures, all the elements of humanity that hitherto served the multifaceted foreign exploitation shall regain their true identity and human rights. As a part of this process, it is only natural that women should benefit from a particularly large augmentation of their rights because of the greater oppression that they suffered under the Toghoti regime. The family is the fundamental unit of society and the main center for the growth and edification of human being. Compatibility with respect to belief and ideal, which provides the primary basis for man's development and growth, is the main consideration in the establishment of a family. It is the duty of the Islamic government to provide the necessary facilities for the attainment of this goal. This view of the family unit delivers woman from being regarded as an object or as an instrument in the service of promoting consumerism and exploitation. Not only does woman recover thereby her momentous and precious function of motherhood, rearing of ideologically committed human beings, she also assumes a pioneering social role and becomes the fellow struggler of man in all vital areas of life. Given the weighty responsibilities that woman thus assumes, she is accorded in Islam great value and nobility. An ideological army. In the formation and equipping of the country's defense forces, due attention must be paid to faith and ideology as the basic criteria. Accordingly, the Army of the Islamic Republic of Iran and the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps are to be organized in conformity with this goal, and they will be responsible not only for guarding and preserving the frontiers of the country, but also for fulfilling the ideological mission of jihad in God's way, that is, extending the sovereignty of God's law throughout the world. This is in accordance with the Quranic verse, "Prepare against them whatever force you are able to muster," and strings of horses, striking fear into the enemy of God and your enemy, and others besides them 8 hours, 60 minutes.
Oh, you guys. Seriously? Like, did you hear that? Did you hear that part? That's messed up. Right? Am I right? Fulfilling the ideological mission of jihad in God's way. Allah's way, you mean? That is extending the sovereignty of God's law, according to them, throughout the world. But you forgot Christ came. We're not under the law. We're under grace. Remember? Ding dong. See, you know what? You say you believe in Jesus. Do you believe in Jesus' message? Because obviously you don't. If you don't, you know what? I'm sorry. This angers me. Angers me. I pulled this verse up. Let me see. You guys. And prepare against them whatever you are able to power, and of the steeds of war, by which you may terrify the enemy of Allah and your enemy and others besides them who you do not know, but whom Allah knows. And whatever you spend in the cause of Allah will be fully repaid to you, and you will not be wronged. This verse emphasizes the importance of preparation and strength in facing adversaries, while assuring that any efforts made will cause Allah, in the cause of Allah, will be rewarded. You know what? I can't. Oh, Lord Jesus. You guys, seriously. This is what we're up against. This is why they cannot have. In fact, it says that their mission, the ideological mission of jihad in God's way, that is extending the sovereignty of God's law throughout the world. The sovereignty of God's, they're going to carry it out. Strike fear into anybody who is, they consider everybody who doesn't believe what they believe an enemy. Now, I'm not saying, I'm saying that the Ayatollah put this together, just so you know. This is their supreme leader. This is his thoughts. This is, otherwise it'd be changed. They go through constitutions like, never mind, I'm just checking.
Iran, Islamic Republic of PLE from the strongholds of the mosque. Ovement with barbaric attacks on the Fadi. Iran, Islamic Republic of the judiciary and the Constitution. The judiciary is of vital importance in the context of safeguarding the rights of the people in accordance with the line followed by the Islamic movement and the prevention of deviations within the Islamic nation. Provision has therefore been made for the creation of a judicial system based on Islamic justice and operated by just judges with meticulous knowledge of the Islamic laws. This system, because of its essentially sensitive nature and the need for full ideological conformity, must be free from every kind of unhealthy relation and connection. This is in accordance with the Quranic verse, when you judge among the people, judge with justice for 58. Executive power. Considering the particular importance of the executive power in implementing the laws and ordinances of Islam for the sake of establishing the rule of just relations over society, and considering, too, its vital role in paving the way for the attainment of the ultimate goal of life, the executive power must work toward the creation of an Islamic society. Consequently, the confinement of the executive power within any kind of complex and inhibiting system that delays or impedes the attainment of this goal is rejected by Islam. Therefore, the system of bureaucracy, the result and product of Taghut forms of government, will be firmly cast away, so that an executive system that functions efficiently and swiftly in the fulfillment of its administrative commitments comes into existence. Mass communication media. The mass communication media, radio and television, must serve the diffusion of Islamic culture in pursuit of the evolutionary course of the Islamic Revolution. To this end, the media should be used as a forum for healthy encounter of different ideas, but they must strictly refrain from diffusion and propagation of destructive and anti-Islamic practices. It is incumbent on all to adhere to the principles of this Constitution, for it regards as its highest aim the freedom and dignity of the human race and provides for the growth and development of the human being. It is also necessary that the Muslim people should participate actively in the construction of Islamic society by selecting competent and believing mu'min officials and keeping close and constant watch on their performance. They may then hope for success in building an ideal Islamic society that can be a model for all people of the world and a witness to its perfection, in accordance with the Quranic verse, "Thus we made you a median community, that you might be witnesses to men." 2:143. Representatives. The Assembly of Experts, composed of representatives of the people, completed its task of framing the Constitution on the basis of the draft proposed by the government as well as all the proposals received from different groups of the people. In 175 articles arranged in 12 chapters, on the eve of the 15th century after the migration of the Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him and his family, the founder of the redeeming school of Islam, and in accordance with the aims and aspirations set out above, with the hope that this century will witness the establishment of a universal government of the Musta'afin and the downfall of all the Mustakbirin. Chapter 1.
Now is the Constitution. Good Lord, we're an hour and a half in, and this is where we're at. Do we need a break? Does Mama need? I'm literally out of lemonade. Okay, you guys want a break? You want a break? Tell me. Tell me now. You got. You want a break? I'm gonna do a break. F you, love bug. Screw you, man. Just kidding. No, get to it. No breaks. Okay, well, I can hear it from the other room. I got to the bathroom too, but I'm going to make some more lemonade. I can hear it. I'm just going to be here. But let's listen because it's interesting. Let's continue.
Chapter 1. General Principles. Article 1. The form of government of Iran is that of an Islamic Republic, endorsed by the people of Iran on the basis of their long-standing belief in the sovereignty of truth and Quranic justice. In the referendum of Farwardin 9 and 10 in the year 1358 of the solar Islamic calendar, corresponding to Jamadi-ul 1 and 2 in the year 1399 of the lunar Islamic calendar, March 29th and 30th, 1979, through the affirmative vote of a majority of 98.2% of eligible voters, held after the victorious Islamic revolution led by the eminent Marji, Al-Taqlid, Ayatollah Al-Azma Imam Khomeini. Article 2. The Islamic Republic is a system based on belief in the one God, as stated in the phrase, "There is no God except Allah," his exclusive sovereignty and the right to legislate, and the necessity of submission to his commands. divine revelation and its fundamental role in setting forth the laws, the return to God in the hereafter, and the constructive role of this belief in the course of man's ascent towards God, the justice of God in creation and legislation, continuous leadership, imama, and perpetual guidance, and its fundamental role in ensuring the uninterrupted process of the revolution of Islam, the exalted dignity and value of man, and his freedom coupled with responsibility before God, in which equity, justice, political, economic, social, and cultural independence and national solidarity are secured by recourse to continuous ijtihad of the fuqaha possessing necessary qualifications, exercised on the basis of the Quran and the Sunnah of the Muslimin, upon all of whom be peace. Sciences and arts and the most advanced results of human experience, together with the effort to advance them further. Negation of all forms of oppression, both the infliction of and the submission to it, and of dominance, both its imposition and its acceptance. Article 3. In order to attain the objectives specified in Article 2, the government of the Islamic Republic of Iran has the duty of directing all its resources to the following goals: the creation of a favorable environment for the growth of moral virtues based on faith and piety and the struggle against all forms of vice and corruption, raising the level of public awareness in all areas through the proper use of the press, mass media, and other means, free education and physical training for everyone at all levels, and the facilitation and expansion of higher education, strengthening the spirit of inquiry, investigation, and innovation in all areas of science, technology, and culture, as well as Islamic studies, by establishing research centers and encouraging researchers, the complete elimination of imperialism and the prevention of foreign influence, the elimination of all forms of despotism and autocracy and all attempts to monopolize power, ensuring political and social freedoms within the framework of the law, the participation of the entire people in determining their political, economic, social, and cultural destiny, the abolition of all forms of undesirable discrimination, and the provision of equitable opportunities for all, in both the material and intellectual spheres, the creation of a correct administrative system and elimination of superfluous government organizations, all-round strengthening of the foundations of national defense to the utmost degree by means of universal military training for the sake of safeguarding the independence, territorial integrity, and the Islamic order of the country. The planning of a correct and just economic system in accordance with Islamic criteria in order to create welfare, eliminate poverty, and abolish all forms of deprivation with respect to food, housing, work, healthcare, and the provision of social insurance for all. The attainment of self-sufficiency in scientific, technological, industrial, agricultural, and military domains and other similar spheres. Securing the multifarious rights of all citizens, both women and men, and providing legal protection for all, as well as the equality of all before the law. The expansion and strengthening of Islamic brotherhood and public cooperation among all the people, framing the foreign policy of the country on the basis of Islamic criteria, fraternal commitment to all Muslims, and unsparing support to the Mustadafun of the world. Article 4. All civil, penal, financial, economic, administrative, cultural, military, political, and other laws and regulations must be based on Islamic criteria. This principle applies absolutely and generally to all articles of the Constitution as well as to all other laws and regulations, and the fuqaha of the Guardian Council are judges in this matter. Article 5. During the occultation of the Wali alayhi Asar, may God hasten his reappearance, the walaya and leadership of the Ummah devolve upon the just, adil, and pious, Mataki, Faqih, who is fully aware of the circumstances of his age, courageous, resourceful, and possessed of administrative ability, will assume the responsibilities of this office in accordance with Article 107. Article 6. In the Islamic Republic of Iran, the affairs of the country must be administered on the basis of public opinion expressed by the means of elections, including the election of the president, the representatives of the Islamic Consultative Assembly, and the members of councils, or by means of referenda in matters specified in other articles of this Constitution. Article 7. In accordance with the command of the Quran contained in the verse, their affairs are by consultations among them 42:38 and consult them in affairs 3:159. Consultative bodies such as the Islamic Consultative Assembly, the provincial councils, and the city, region, district, and village councils, and the likes of the are the decision-making and administrative organs of the country. The nature of each of these councils, together with the manner of their formation, their jurisdiction, and scope of their duties and functions, is determined by the Constitution and laws derived from it. Article 8. In the Islamic Republic of Iran, al-Amr bil-Ma'ruf wa al-Nahy and al-Munkar is a universal and reciprocal duty that must be fulfilled by the people with respect to one another, by the government with respect to the people, and by the people with respect to the government. The conditions, limits, and nature of this duty will be specified by law. This is in accordance with the Quranic verse, "The believers, men and women, are guardians of one another. They enjoin the good and forbid the evil 9 hours, 71 minutes." Article 9. In the Islamic Republic of Iran,
It's not 9 hours and 71 minutes, just seems like it. I meant to say that it reads, obviously, I don't need to explain that shit to you guys. Come on.
Iran, the freedom, independence, unity, and territorial integrity of the country are inseparable from one another, and their preservation is the duty of the government and all individual citizens. No individual, group, or authority has the right to infringe in the slightest way upon the political, cultural, economic, and military independence or the territorial integrity of Iran under the pretext of exercising freedom. Similarly, no authority has the right to abrogate legitimate freedoms, not even by enacting laws and regulations for that purpose, under the pretext of preserving the independence and territorial integrity of the country. Article 10. Since the family
I mean, you guys get out of that what I just heard? Article 9. In the Islamic Republic of Iran, the freedom, independence, unity, and territorial integrity of the country are inseparable from one another. And their preservation is the duty of the government and all individual citizens. No individual group or authority has the right to infringe in the slightest way upon the political, culture, economic, and military independence or the territorial integrity of Iran under the pretext of exercising freedom. Freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom, oh my gosh, to wear your hair the way you want. But of course, our intentions are to pursue the man. And so it's upon us as women to make sure we're covered, because otherwise we're the ones causing men to look upon us and lust after us. We're disgusting. I'm just saying. Don't get me started.
Family is the fundamental unit of Islamic society. All laws, regulations, and pertinent programs must tend to facilitate the formation of a family. E10. Since the family is the fundamental unit of Islamic society, all laws, regulations, and pertinent programs must tend to facilitate the formation of a family, and to safeguard its sanctity and the stability of family relations on the basis of the law and the ethics of Islam. Article 11. In accordance with this sacred verse of the Quran, this your community is a single community, and I am your Lord. So worship me 21 hours 92.
No, not 21 hours and 92 minutes. Hold on. I'm looking this one up. And I'm not going to bring it up because I'm not going to lose my place. We're in Article 11, you guys. Don't forget that. We're looking this one up. We got to look this up. Wait. On 2192. Looking that one up. Now, when it comes to the Bible verse and stuff, they always say you kind of got to read in context. So you kind of read the verse before and the verse after, just to kind of put it in some more context. And if you want, if it doesn't give you a better picture, then read another on either side to see if you can bring it into context. And so I'm going to kind of do that with this one. Let's see what we come up with. Here it is. The results. Here we go. I don't want to lose her. So, O prophets, indeed, this religion of yours is only one, and I am your Lord. So worship me alone. What the fuck is with the word so? I'm sorry, this is not meant to be, but what's with the word so? So worship me. Come on. You guys. Really? Whatever. I'm totally put off by that. Well, I mean, I listen, but I get, you know what? Here's when they talk about worshiping God in the Bible, they paint a picture of the worship of God and how God is already, he's got angels that surround him day and night, that surround him and speak nothing but worship and praise. 24. That's why they have like the International House of Prayer. Have you ever heard about it? It's in Kansas City. Is it in Kansas? No, it's in Missouri, I think. Yeah, I think it's Kansas City, Missouri. Anyways, it's Kansas City, and they have the International House of Prayer. It is such a great place. Oh my gosh. They have worship 24/7. They stream it on YouTube, you guys. Totally check it out after this stream. Put it on in the background if you want. I don't care. Anyways, okay. IHOP. It's called. Not the Pancake House. Let me see if I can play on. Stop it. Oh my god, make it stop. Oh, here it is. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to the next. Okay. Reading. Here we go. Read full. Oh, it doesn't have it all translated. I hit the wrong one. Oh, well. Well, you know what? Go look these up because I probably am going to later. I've only looked up a few and I didn't get to these ones because I didn't get this far. I'm reading this for the first time, you guys, too. So if I stop it, don't be surprised. I'm like shocked at some of this stuff. Okay. All right.
20.
Hold on. I got to mute myself first. Otherwise, it's going to echo. Remember? Hey, Viper. Are you there? Why are you screaming for him? Are you saying I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention to that. Okay. I'm sorry. Here, I'll mute myself.
21 hours 92 minutes. All Muslims form a single nation, and the government of the Islamic Republic of Iran has the duty of formulating its general policies with a view to cultivating the friendship and unity of all Muslim peoples. And it must constantly strive to bring about the political, economic, and cultural unity of the Islamic world. Article 12. The official religion of Iran is Islam and the Twelver Jafari school in Usul al-Din and Fiqh, and this
The what? Oh, yes, we are. You guys. What's a Twelver Jafari school? In Usan Din and Fiqh. Sounds like the F word, though. Watch. I'm going to copy that. I'm not going to bring it to the screen because every time I bring stuff over to the screen, it starts over. So I will just read it to you, okay? I'm just going to have to deal with it. I have to know what this is. The Jafari school is known as the Jafarite school. Arabic, Jafaric jurisprudence is a prominent school of jurisprudence within Twelver and Ismaili Shia Islam, named after the sixth Imam, Jafar al-Sadiq. Is there a list? Like their imams are like apostles, I believe, right? Isn't that what the imam is? Like the apostles? You guys, don't you know? An imam is a Muslim religious leader, most commonly known as a person who leads prayers in a mosque. Oh, okay. The term can also refer to a community leader or a religious scholar. In Shia Islam, the concept of imam is more exclusive, like in this, referring to divinely appointed, infallible leaders. Righteous leaders, basically, is that what they're saying? I mean, that's what they're saying, right? Here's a more detailed explanation. An imam typically leads daily prayers, salah, delivers sermons, khutbah, and provides religious guidance to the community. Sunni Muslims can become imams by studying basic Islamic sciences. They may also serve as community leaders and counselors. Shia Muslims believe that imams are divinely appointed leaders, successors to Prophet Muhammad. Divinely appointed leaders, successors to Prophet Muhammad, and are infallible. Why? Why are they infallible? What? They're not a god, but they want you to treat them as one? They ain't Jesus. They ain't Jesus. Jesus never said, he said, not one of you is good. Not one. What? I don't think so. I'm on this lemonade kick, you guys. It's sugar-free lemonade. I'm off the pop. Off pop today. Well, for a few days now, so I'm off the pop. Anyways, let's continue to listen to this. So now we know what this Twelver Jafar school is basically a scholar of Shia Islam. And it's an exclusive referring to a divinely appointed infallible leader. That's a bit concerning to me in my own personal belief system because, even the Pope, I think, would admit that he's a sinner, but he's considered a holy man. But even holy men sinned. Look at King David. He was a priest too and a prophet. He he checked all the boxes. Okay? Like, oh my gosh, with this. It's very disturbing, you guys. Sorry, I've never read this, so it's interesting to me. This is how I feel. This is pretty raw emotion on this, and I'm sorry if it's offensive to anybody. I'm not meant to be. It's just this is offensive to me because basically you're saying if I don't follow your ways, you have every right to just murder me or wherever. If I'm doing something, if I'm wearing, you basically. If I'm not following the law, you care because you carry that wherever you are in the world, that you have the right to just do away with me. It's law. It's my law. And I'm governed by that for forever. It's my faith. Honor killing. It's okay. Listen. I just want to tell you guys that I have had first-hand experience in families and trying to mediate in families like this. And it's sad because I can't even. I can't. Okay, so I'm going to pause, or I'm going to shut up, and let's just continue.
Iran, Islamic Republic of 1979.
No! Was I gone too long? Assholes. 11. Article 11. Where we? Where are we? You guys. Yep. There it is. Oh my God. Isn't it? Here we go. Okay. So more actions. Continue to read aloud from here.
Article 11. In accordance with the sacred verse of the Quran, this your community is a single community, and I am your Lord. So worship me 21 hours 92 minutes. All Muslims form a single nation. And the government of the Islamic Republic of Iran has the duty of formulating its general policies with a view to cultivating the friendship and unity of all Muslim peoples, and it must constantly strive to bring about the political, economic, and cultural unity of the Islamic world. Article 12. The official religion of Iran is Islam and the Twelver Jafari school in Usul al-Din and Fiqh, and this principle will remain eternally immutable. Other Islamic schools, including the Hanafi, Shafi'i, Maliki, Hanbali, and Zaydi, are to be accorded full respect, and their followers are free to act in accordance with their own jurisprudence in performing their religious rites. These schools enjoy official status in matters pertaining to religious education, affairs of personal status, marriage, divorce, inheritance and wills, and related litigation in courts of law. In regions of the country where Muslims following any one of these schools of fiqh constitute the majority, local regulations, within the bounds of the jurisdiction of local councils, are to be in accordance with the respective school of fiqh, without infringing upon the rights of the followers of other schools. Article 13. Zoroastrian, Jewish, and Christian Iranians are the only recognized religious minorities who, within the limits of the law, are free to perform their religious rites and ceremonies, and to act according to their own canon in matters of personal affairs and religious education. Article 14. In accordance with the sacred verse, God does not forbid you to deal kindly and justly with those who have not fought against you because of your religion and who have not expelled you from your homes. 60:8. The government of the Islamic Republic of Iran and all Muslims are duty-bound to treat non-Muslims in conformity with ethical norms and the principles of Islamic justice and equity, and to respect their human rights. This principle applies to all who refrain from engaging in conspiracy or activity against Islam and the Islamic Republic of Iran. Chapter 2. The official language, script, calendar, and flag of the country. Article 15. The official
Okay. Does it or does it not say there, in accordance with the sacred verse, God does not forbid you to deal kindly and justly with those who have not fought against you because of your religion and who have not expelled you from your homes. The government of the Islamic Republic of Iran and all Muslims are duty bound to treat non-Muslims in conformity with ethical norms and principles of Islamic justice and equity, and to respect their human rights. What were their rights? Did they have any rights? This principle applies to all who refrain from engaging in conspiracy or activity against Islam and the Islamic Republic of Iran. So basically, this verse allows them, they are duty bound to treat non-Muslims in conformity with ethical norms and their principles of Islamic justice and equity, and to respect their human rights. Okay, I haven't read human rights in here. Where did I miss it? Did they just read it? What? Maybe I wasn't paying enough attention. Let me go back. I'm not going to do that right now. I'll look into, I'm going to find out where their human rights article is, and I'll pull that up later. But right here, I feel threatened. No, this is Iran. This is not Gaza. This is different. This is an Iranian Islamic Republic of Iran. This is what these guys believe. This is what these guys agreed to. Are they best buddies? Is that what they think too? Are they part of this? Are they part of the school of Mafiki? 12 Jafari school? Is that what we're talking? Are they the carriers outers of the law? Because if they are scholars, then they are. If they are Muslim, then they are. If they're a true one, right? You guys, I'm trying to explain this thought process to you. This is how they grew up. This is how they believe. This is, and you know what? I get why they believe it. I totally understand why they believe it. Because that's all they've ever known. And to have a paradigm shift to say that all you've ever known is wrong? Is that wrong? I'm still learning what they think, what they believe. And this is an entire nation that voted this in 1978. I was 6 years old by then. Can you believe it? And they've been in power. The Ayatollah has been in power ever since. If you don't know what an Ayatollah is, look it up. I didn't know what it was when I was young. What's an Ayatollah? I mean, I knew when I was in high school, they tell you it's a paragraph. It's a freaking paragraph in high school. We don't study Iranian politics or constitution. We don't do that in America. Maybe we should. Sheesh. No, I'm just kidding. Settle down, freaks. Okay. Yeah, all I'm saying is, look, I get why they understand the way that they do, the things that they believe and think. I get it. It's because that's all they ever do. And it's like, even if you were what do you call it, those Latter-day Saints, the Mormons, like them, that's all they've ever known. And to change a thought process, it's interesting. It really truly is. It's very interesting to completely have a paradigm shift of all you've ever believed. So don't wonder why an Iranian would be apprehensive to change, their religion. They're not doing it lightly. They truly believe that this is what their duty is as, and you know what? I ain't gonna tell them not to serve their God. I don't do that. I'm not telling nobody nothing. I'm just well trying to make myself aware of a predicament that I could find myself in, maybe as a Christian. You know what? Tell you what, never going to Iran. How about that? Never going to Iran. Okay. All right. I am reading the chats. I'm reading them. I don't post them all up there. I'm reading them though. Why? You say respect they not removed you from your home. Okay, stop it. Good Lord. You goofball. Okay. All right, let's continue. I hope I wasn't gone too long. Please do not.
Iran, Islamic Republic of 1979. Rev.
It's like she sounds like she's laughing at me. I shit you not. All right, let me get to the right spot. I know how to do it now, so it won't take long.
Article 14. In accordance with the sacred verse, God does not forbid you to deal kindly and justly with those who have not fought against you because of your religion and who have not expelled you from your homes. 60:8. The government of the Islamic Republic of Iran and all Muslims are duty-bound to treat.
You see, it says God does not forbid you. Does not forbid you. So go ahead. Basically. That's how I read it. Am I wrong?
Treat non-Muslims in conformity with ethical norms and the principles of Islamic justice and equity, and to respect their human rights. This principle applies to all who refrain from engaging in conspiracy or activity against Islam and the Islamic Republic of Iran. Chapter 2. The official language, script, calendar, and flag of the country. Article 15. The official language and script of Iran, the lingua franca of its people, is Persian. Official documents, correspondence, and texts as well as textbooks must be in this language and script. However, the use of regional and tribal languages in the press and mass media, as well as for teaching of their literature in schools, is allowed in addition to Persian. Article 16. Since the language of the Quran and Islamic texts and teachings is Arabic, and since Persian literature is thoroughly permeated by this language, it must be taught after elementary level, in all classes of secondary school, and in all areas of study. Article 17. The official calendar of the country takes as its point of departure the migration of the Prophet of Islam, God's peace and blessings upon him and his family. Both the solar and lunar Islamic calendars are recognized, but government offices will function according to the solar calendar. The official weekly holiday is Friday. Article 18. The official flag of Iran is composed of green, white, and red colors with the special emblem of the Islamic Republic, together with the motto, Allahu Akbar. Chapter 3. The Rights of the People. Article 19. All people of Iran, whatever the ethnic group or tribe to which they belong, enjoy equal rights, and color, race, language, and the like do not bestow any privilege. Article 20. All citizens of the country, both men and women, equally enjoy the protection of the law and enjoy all human, political, economic, social, and cultural rights in conformity with Islamic criteria. Article 21. The government must ensure the rights of women in all respects in conformity with Islamic criteria and accomplish the following goals. Create a favorable environment for the growth of woman's personality and the restoration of her rights, both the material and intellectual. The protection of mothers, particularly during pregnancy and childrearing, and the protection of children without guardians. Establishing competent courts to protect and preserve the family. The provision of special insurance for widows and aged women and women without support. The awarding of guardianship of children to worthy mothers in order to protect the interests of the children in the absence of a legal guardian. Article 22. The dignity, life, property, rights, residence, and occupation of the individual are inviolate except in cases sanctioned by law. Article 23. The investigation of individuals' beliefs is forbidden, and no one may be molested or taken to task simply for holding a certain belief. Article 24. Publications and the press have freedom of expression except when it is detrimental to the fundamental principles of Islam or the rights of the public. The details of this exception will be specified by law. Article 25. The inspection of letters and the failure to deliver them, the recording and disclosure of telephone conversations, the disclosure of telegraphic and telex communications, censorship, or the willful failure to transmit them, eavesdropping. And all forms of covert investigation are forbidden, except as provided by law. Article 26. The formation of parties, societies, political or professional associations, as well as religious societies, whether Islamic or pertaining to one of the recognized religious minorities, is permitted provided they do not violate the principles of independence, freedom, national unity, the criteria of Islam, or the basis of the Islamic Republic. No one may be prevented from participating in the aforementioned groups or be compelled to participate in them. Article 27. Public gatherings and marches may be freely held, provided arms are not carried and that they are not detrimental to the fundamental principles of Islam. Article 28. Everyone has the right to choose any occupation he wishes if it is not contrary to Islam and the public interests, and does not infringe the rights of others. The government has the duty, with due consideration of the need of society for different kinds of work, to provide every citizen with the opportunity to work and to create equal conditions for obtaining it. Article 29. To benefit from Social Security with respect to retirement, unemployment, old age, disability, absence of a guardian, and benefits relating to being stranded, accidents, health services, and medical care and treatment, provided through insurance or other means, is accepted as a universal right. The government must provide the foregoing services and financial support for every individual citizen by drawing, in accordance with the law, on the national revenues and funds obtained through public contributions. Article 30. The government must provide all citizens with free education up to secondary school and must expand free higher education to the extent required by the country for attaining self-sufficiency. Article 31. It is the right of every Iranian individual and family to possess housing commensurate with his needs. The government must make land available for the implementation of this article, according priority to those whose need is greatest, in particular the rural population and the workers. Article 32. No one may be arrested except by the order and in accordance with the procedure laid down by law. In case of arrest, charges with the reasons for accusation must, without delay, be communicated and explained to the accused in writing. And a provisional dossier must be forwarded to the competent judicial authorities within a maximum of 24 hours so that the preliminaries to the trial can be completed as swiftly as possible. The violation of this article will be liable to punishment in accordance with the law. Article 33. No one can be banished from his place of residence, prevented from residing in the place of his choice, or compelled to reside in a given locality, except in cases provided by law. Article 34. It is the indisputable right of every citizen to seek justice by recourse to competent courts. All citizens have right of access to such courts, and no one can be barred from courts to which he has a legal right of recourse. Article 35. Both parties to a lawsuit have the right in all courts of law to select an attorney, and if they are unable to do so, arrangements must be made to provide them with legal counsel. Article 36. The passing and execution of a sentence must be only by a competent court and in accordance with law. Article 37. Innocence is to be presumed, and no one is to be held guilty of a charge unless his or her guilt has been established by a competent court. Article 38. All forms of torture for the purpose of extracting confession or acquiring information are forbidden. Compulsion of individuals to testify, confess, or take an oath is not permissible, and any testimony, confession, or oath obtained under duress is devoid of value and credence. Violation of this article is liable to punishment in accordance with the law. Article 39. All affronts to the dignity and repute of persons arrested, detained, imprisoned, or banished in accordance with the law, whatever form they may take, are forbidden and liable to punishment. Article 40. No one is entitled to exercise his rights in a way injurious to others or detrimental to public interests. Article 41. Iranian citizenship is the indisputable right of every Iranian, and the government cannot withdraw citizenship from any Iranian unless he himself requests it or acquires the citizenship of another country. Article 42. Foreign nationals may acquire Iranian citizenship within the framework of the laws. Citizenship may be withdrawn from such persons if another state accepts them as its citizens or if they request it. Chapter 4. Economy and Financial Affairs. Article 43. The economy of the Islamic Republic of Iran, with its objectives of achieving the economic independence of the society, uprooting poverty and deprivation, and fulfilling human needs in the process of development while preserving human liberty, is based on the following criteria: the provision of basic necessities for all citizens, housing, food, clothing, hygiene, medical treatment, education, and the necessary facilities for the establishment of a family. Ensuring conditions and opportunities of employment for everyone, with a view to attaining full employment, placing the means of work at the disposal of everyone who is able to work but lacks the means, in the form of cooperatives, through granting interest-free loans or recourse to any other legitimate means that neither results in the concentration or circulation of wealth in the hands of a few individuals or groups, nor turns the government into a major absolute employer. These steps must be taken with due regard for the requirements governing the general economic planning of the country at each stage of its growth. The plan for the national economy must be structured in such a manner that the form, content, and hours of work of every individual will allow him sufficient leisure and energy to engage, beyond his professional endeavor, in intellectual, political, and social activities leading to all-round development of his self, to take active part in leading the affairs of the country, improve his skills, and to make full use of his creativity. Respect for the right to choose freely one's occupation, refraining from compelling anyone to engage in a particular job, and preventing the exploitation of another's labor.
As long as it's within the law and you're allowed to do it. What does the law say? What does the Sharia law say? They said it has to be in accordance with that. So I'm curious. I mean, how big is the law? I wonder how many volumes of laws there are. I mean, like, is it like in here in, you know what I mean? Is it like is in America or in other countries? Anyways.
The prohibition of infliction of harm and loss upon others, monopoly, hoarding, usury, and other illegitimate and evil practices. The prohibition of extravagance and wastefulness in all matters related to the economy, including consumption, investment, production, distribution, and services. The utilization of science and technology and the training of skilled personnel in accordance with the developmental needs of the country's economy. Prevention of foreign economic domination over the country's economy. Emphasis on increase of agricultural, livestock, and industrial production in order to satisfy public needs and to make the country self-sufficient and free from dependence. Article 44. The economy of the Islamic Republic of Iran is to consist of three sectors: state, cooperative, and private, and is to be based on systematic and sound planning. The state sector is to include all large-scale and mother industries, foreign trade, major minerals, banking, insurance, power generation, dams and large-scale irrigation network.
You know, I just want to point out the differences in the Islam is according in like when I see that I'm like, oh, well, that's a little bit of a difference for so a Muslim versus or Islam, I guess, versus the Christian um philosophy, I guess, is that your cup overflows with God. God says, I'm going to make your cup overflow. That, all of his people, I mean, they were wealthy. They weren't poor. They were all wealthy. They were shepherds, but they were wealthy. Yeah, they had enough, more than enough, in fact. And they had huge families because they all had enough. There was an abundance. There was so much of an abundance that they would split their flocks and move away. That's how much abundance there was. So there's a huge difference in their God and or their thought process of being providing or being like merchants and like the economy, like, oh yeah, you just can't, you shouldn't be, I mean, yeah, you shouldn't be super extravagant. I mean, that is kind of weird, but you know what? It's your stuff and you don't need to worry about, why do other people worry about your stuff? They need to worry about their own stuff. Right? Right? Am I right? Right. Okay. So let's go.
Networks, radio and television, post, telegraph, and telephone services, aviation, shipping, roads, railroads, and the like. All these will be publicly owned and administered by the state. The cooperative sector is to include cooperative companies and enterprises concerned with production and distribution in urban and rural areas in accordance with Islamic criteria. The private sector consists of those activities concerned with agriculture, animal husbandry, industry, trade, and services that supplement the economic activities of the state and cooperative sectors. Ownership in each of these three sectors is protected by the laws of the Islamic Republic insofar as this ownership is in conformity with the other articles of this chapter, does not go beyond the bounds of Islamic law, contributes to the economic growth and progress of the country, and does not harm society. The precise scope of each of these sectors, as well as the regulations and conditions governing their operation, will be specified by law. Article 45. Public wealth and property, such as uncultivated or abandoned land, mineral deposits, seas, lakes, rivers, and other public waterways, mountains, valleys, forests, marshland, natural forests, unenclosed pastureland, legacies without heirs, property of undetermined ownership, and public property recovered from usurpers shall be at the disposal of the Islamic government for it to utilize in accordance with the public interest. Law will specify detailed procedures for the utilization of each of the foregoing items. Article 46. Everyone is the owner of the fruits of his legitimate business and labor, and no one may.
What if you can have a picnic in the park? Is that allowed? Just asking for a friend.
May deprive another of the opportunity of business and work under the pretext of his right to ownership. Article 47. Private ownership, legitimately acquired, is to be respected. The relevant criteria are determined by law. Article 48. There must be no discrimination among the various provinces with regard to the exploitation of natural resources, utilization of public revenues, and distribution of economic activities among the various provinces and regions of the country, thereby ensuring that every region has access to the necessary capital and facilities in accordance with its needs and capacity for growth. Article 49. The government has the responsibility of confiscating all wealth accumulated through usury, usurpation, bribery, embezzlement, theft, gambling, misuse of endowments, misuse of government contracts and transactions, the sale of uncultivated lands and other resources subject to public ownership, the operation of centers of corruption and other illicit means and sources, and restoring it to its legitimate owner, and if no such owner can be identified, it must be entrusted to the public treasury. This rule must be executed by the government with due care, after investigation and furnishing necessary evidence in accordance with the law of Islam. Article 50. The preservation of the environment, in which the present as well as the future generations have a right to flourishing social existence, is regarded as a public duty in the Islamic Republic. Economic and other activities that inevitably involve pollution of the environment or cause irreparable damage to it are therefore forbidden. Article 51. No form of taxation may be imposed except in accordance with the law. Provisions for tax exemption and reduction will be determined by law. Article 52. The annual budget of the country will be drawn up by the government in the manner specified by law and submitted to the Islamic Consultative Assembly for discussion and approval. Any change in the figures contained in the budget will be in accordance with the procedures prescribed by law. Article 53. All sums collected by the government will be deposited into the government accounts at the Central Treasury, and all disbursements, within the limits of allocations approved, shall be made in accordance with law. Article 54. The National Accounting Agency is to be directly under the supervision of the Islamic Consultative Assembly. Its organization and mode of operation in Tehran and at the provincial capitals are to be determined by law. Article 55. The National Accounting Agency will inspect and audit, in the manner prescribed by law, all the accounts of ministries, government institutions and companies, as well as other organizations that draw, in any way, on the general budget of the country, to ensure that no expenditure exceeds the allocations approved and that all sums are spent for the specified purpose. It will collect all relevant accounts, documents, and records in accordance with law and submit to the Islamic Consultative Assembly a report for the settlement of each year's budget together with its own comments. This report must be made available to the public. Chapter 5. The right of national sovereignty and the powers deriving therefrom. Article 56. Absolute sovereignty over the world and man belongs to God, and it is He who has made man master of his own social destiny. No one can deprive man of this divine right, nor subordinate it to the vested interests of a particular individual or group. The people are to exercise this divine right in the manner specified in the following articles. Article 57. The powers of government in the Islamic Republic are vested in the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive powers, functioning under the supervision of the absolute Wilayat al-Amr and the leadership of the Ummah, in accordance with the forthcoming articles of this constitution. These powers are independent of each other. Article 58. The functions of the legislature are to be exercised through the Islamic Consultative Assembly, consisting of the elected representatives of the people. Legislation approved by this body, after going through the stages specified in the articles below, is communicated to the executive and the judiciary for implementation. Article 59. In extremely important economic, political, social, and cultural matters, the functions of the legislature may be exercised through direct recourse to popular vote through a referendum. Any request for such direct recourse to public opinion must be approved by 2/3 of the members of the Islamic Consultative Assembly. Article 60. The functions of the executive, except in the matters that are directly placed under the jurisdiction of the leadership by the Constitution, are to be exercised by the President and the ministers. Article 61. The functions of the judiciary are to be performed by courts of justice, which are to be formed in accordance with the criteria STICE and implement the divine limits, al-Huda criteria of Islam, and are vested with the authority to examine and settle lawsuits, protect the rights of the public, dispense and enact justice, and implement the divine limits, al-Hudud al-Ilahiyya. Chapter 6.
I'm not going to pass that up. I have to know what this is. Enact justice and implement divine limits. What does that mean? What does this mean? Let's ask Chat GPT. Control C. Here we go. We're going to this. This is the free version. What does it mean when the hey, let's see if this works.
The phrase dispense and enact justice and implement the divine limits in the context of the Iranian constitution reflects a deep connection between the legal and judicial systems in Iran and Islamic principles, particularly those derived from Shia Islam. Let's break it down. Dispense and enact justice. This part refers to the responsibility of the government, especially the judiciary, to ensure fairness and equity within society. Justice, in this sense, isn't just about enforcing laws in a neutral way, but about aligning societal laws with the moral and ethical standards established by Islam. This can involve interpreting the law through an Islamic lens, making sure that it protects individual rights while upholding Islamic values. Implement the divine limits. The divine limits refers to the boundaries set by God, Allah, in Islamic teachings. These limits are often related to moral laws and ethical standards, such as prohibitions on theft, murder, adultery, and other actions considered sinful in Islam. The phrase is essentially saying that the Iranian legal system has the duty to ensure that the country's laws align with the principles and values that are believed to be divinely ordained. In practice, this means that the Iranian government, through its institutions, including the judiciary, must operate within the framework of Shia Islamic principles. The legal system doesn't just enforce secular laws, it also enacts laws that are in accordance with Islamic teachings. This can include areas like family law, e.g., marriage, inheritance, etc., criminal law, e.g., punishment for offenses, and other aspects of public policy. In short, the phrase reflects Iran's commitment to implementing both a sense of earthly justice and the moral, legal requirements that are believed to be divinely mandated, as interpreted through Shia Islam. Attach. Search. Voice. ChatGPT can make mistakes. Attach. Search. Voice.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? It's just good information, you know? Uh, this is very interesting. I'm wondering if um or Feek, yeah, okay. Okay, so let's listen to this real quick and then we'll get back to that. I don't think there's much left of it, actually. I think we're almost, let me see. We're on chapter whatever, 6, is that? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Shit. Shit. We're chapter 6. Here you go. Oh, thank God. Okay. I mute myself first. We're just going back to it. We're not going to go on the little rabbit trail.
Dispense and enact justice, and implement the divine limits. Al-Hudud al-Ilahiyya. Chapter 6. The Legislative Power. Section 1. The Islamic Consultative Assembly. Article 62. The Islamic Consultative Assembly is constituted by the representatives of the people elected directly and by secret ballot. The qualifications of voters and candidates, as well as the nature of election, will be specified by law. Article 63. The term of membership in the Islamic Consultative Assembly is 4 years. Elections for each term must take place before the end of the preceding term so that the country is never without an assembly. Article 64. There are to be 270 members of the Islamic Consultative Assembly which, keeping in view the human, political, geographic, and other similar factors, may increase by not more than 20 for each 10-year period from the date of the national referendum of the year 1368 of the solar Islamic calendar. The Zoroastrians and Jews will each elect one representative, Assyrian and Chaldean Christians will jointly elect one representative, and Armenian Christians in the north and those in the south of the country will each elect one representative. The limits of the election constituencies and the number of representatives will be determined by law. Article 65. After the holding of elections, sessions of the Islamic Consultative Assembly are considered legally valid when 2/3 of the total number of members are present. Drafts and bills will be approved in accordance with the code of procedure approved by it, except in cases where the Constitution has specified a certain quorum. The consent of 2/3 of all members present is necessary for the approval of the Code of Procedure of the Assembly. Article 66. The manner of election of the Speaker and the presiding board of the Assembly, the number of committees and their term of office, and matters related to conducting the discussions and maintaining the discipline of the Assembly will be determined by the Code of Procedure of the Assembly. Article 67. Members of the Assembly must take the following oath at the first session of the Assembly and affix their signatures to its text. In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. In the presence of the glorious Quran, I swear by God, the exalted and almighty, and undertake, swearing by my own honor as a human being, to protect the sanctity of Islam and guard the accomplishments of the Islamic Revolution of the Iranian people and the foundations of the Islamic Republic, to protect, as a just trustee, the honor bestowed upon me by the people, to observe piety in fulfilling my duties as people's representative, to remain always committed to the independence and honor of the country, to fulfill my duties towards the nation and the service of the people, to defend the Constitution, and to bear in mind, both in speech and writing and in the expression of my views, the independence of the country, the freedom of the people, and the security of their interests. Members belonging to the religious minorities will swear by their own sacred books while taking this oath. Members not attending the first session will perform the ceremony of taking the oath at the first session they attend. Article 68. In time of war and the military occupation of the country, elections due to be held in occupied areas or countrywide may be delayed for a specified period if proposed by the President of the Republic and approved by 3/4 of the total members of the Islamic Consultative Assembly with the endorsement of the Guardian Council. If a new assembly is not formed, the previous one will continue to function. Article 69. The deliberations of the Islamic Consultative Assembly must be open and full minutes of them made available to the public by the radio and the official gazette. A closed session may be held in emergency conditions if it is required for national security, upon the requisition of the President, one of the ministers, or 10 members of the Assembly. Legislation passed at a closed session is valid only when approved by 3/4 of the members in the presence of the Guardian Council. After emergency conditions have ceased to exist, the minutes of such closed sessions, together with any legislation approved in them, must be made available to the public. Article 70. The President, his deputies, and the ministers have the right to participate in the open sessions of the Assembly either collectively or individually. They may also have their advisors accompany them. If the members of the Assembly deem it necessary, the ministers are obliged to attend. Conversely, whenever they request it, their statements are to be heard. Section 2. Powers and authority of the Islamic Consultative Assembly. Article 71. The Islamic Consultative Assembly can establish laws on all matters within the limits of its competence as laid down in the Constitution. Article 72. The Islamic Consultative Assembly cannot enact laws contrary to the usul and ahkam of the official religion of the country or to the Constitution. It is the duty of the Guardian Council to determine whether a violation has occurred, in accordance with Article 96. Article 73. The interpretation of ordinary laws falls within the competence of the Islamic Consultative Assembly. The intent of this article does not prevent the interpretations that judges may make in the course of cassation. Article 74. Government bills are presented to the Islamic Consultative Assembly after receiving the approval of the Council of Ministers. Members' bills may be introduced in the Islamic Consultative Assembly if sponsored by at least 15 members. Article 75. Members' bills and proposals and amendments to government bills proposed by members that entail the reduction of the public income or the increase of public expenditure may be introduced in the Assembly only if means for compensating for the decrease in income or for meeting the new expenditure are also specified. Article 76. The Islamic Consultative Assembly.
They get cost of living raises. Yes, most of the arguments of law will be about Islamic law, which are subjective. Well, they say it's the Shia law that they're following. And the Guardian Council, I looked that up earlier. These are all very established. Basically, they're scholars of Islam. They're scholars of Islam, of the Islamic religion. Yeah. Oh, shit. There it is. Ah. I don't want to mess up.
Assembly has the right to investigate and examine all the affairs of the country. Article 77. International treaties, protocols, contracts, and agreements must be approved by the Islamic Consultative Assembly. Article 78. All changes in the boundaries of the country are forbidden, with the exception of minor amendments in keeping with the interests of the country, on condition that they are not unilateral. Do not encroach on the independence and territorial integrity of the country, and receive the approval of four-fifths of the total members of the Islamic Consultative Assembly. Article 79. The proclamation of martial law is forbidden. In case of war or emergency conditions akin to war, the government has the right to impose temporarily certain necessary restrictions, with the agreement of the Islamic Consultative Assembly. In no case can such restrictions last for more than 30 days. If the need for them persists beyond this limit, the government must obtain new authorization for them from the Assembly. Article 80. The taking and giving of loans or grants in aid, domestic and foreign, by the government must be approved by the Islamic Consultative Assembly. Article 81. The granting of concessions to foreigners for the formation of companies or institutions dealing with commerce, industry, agriculture, services, or mineral extraction is absolutely forbidden. Article 82. The employment of foreign experts is forbidden, except in cases of necessity and with the approval of the Islamic Consultative Assembly. Article 83. Government buildings and properties forming part of the national heritage cannot be transferred except with the approval of the Islamic Consultative Assembly. That, too, is not applicable in the case of irreplaceable treasures. Article 84. Every representative is responsible to the entire nation and has the right to express his views on all internal and external affairs of the country. Article 85. The right of membership is vested with the individual and is not transferable to others. The Assembly cannot delegate the power of legislation to an individual or committee, but whenever necessary, it can delegate the power of legislating certain laws to its own committees in accordance with Article 72. In such a case, the laws will be implemented on a tentative basis for a period specified by the Assembly, and their final approval will rest with the Assembly. Likewise, the Assembly may, in accordance with Article 72, delegate to the relevant committees the responsibility for permanent approval of articles of Article 73. The interpretation. Article 72. The Islamic Consultative Assembly cannot enact laws contrary to the usul and ahkam of the official religion of the country or to the Constitution. It is the duty of the Guardian Council to determine whether a violation has occurred, in accordance with Article 96.
Is this some sort of code? Oh, I don't even know what these two words mean. I have to look it up. I can't go any further. I don't care. What? What? Oh my God. There's so much. No. Oh, the Usal Afiq focuses on methodology of interpreting Islamic legal texts and deriving rulings from them. So basically, okay, I got it. It aims to establish the principles that scholars use to determine what is halal, permissible, haram, forbidden, mustahab, recommended, mukrah, discouraged, or wajib, obligatory in Islamic law. I may be saying those incorrectly. I apologize. I apologize for any further offenses I may commit because I just don't know. I'm not, I'm not trying to. But I probably, and sorry, I don't know. I don't know. Hey, I don't know until I read it, and I haven't read the law yet. Okay, so don't get me there. I'm getting there. Let's slow down. Slow down. Okay. Sorry, I had the echo on for the longest time, you guys. I was reading along with it. I'm terrible. Okay, let's go back. So we can go back because we were all the way down to because they kept talking about Article 72. Well, I couldn't stand it anymore. Article 72. Article 72. Okay. So now we know. Okay. We know it's rulings. It's basically what you would consider, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a legal term. Precedents. Like basically past precedents. Basically, that's kind of what I get from that. So I mean, that's typical, I guess. But according to the law, which I don't know what the law is. So again, let's continue a little bit more here on this stuff. Let's see, where were we? Right here. We can start at. I think we got right to about here. We started talking about Article 96. Oh, down here too. So let's start here.
In addition to this, the government approvals shall not be against the laws and other general rules of the country, and, while calling for implementation, the same shall be brought to the knowledge of the Speaker of the Islamic Consultative Assembly for his study and indication that the approvals in question are not inconsistent with the aforesaid rules. Article 86. Members of the Assembly are completely free in expressing their views and casting their votes in the course of performing their duties as representatives, and they cannot be prosecuted or arrested for opinions expressed in the Assembly or votes cast in the course of performing their duties as representatives. Article 87. The President must obtain, for the Council of Ministers, after being formed and before all other business, a vote of confidence from the Assembly. During a vote of confidence from the Assembly. During his incumbency, he can also seek a vote of confidence for the Council of Ministers from the Assembly on important and controversial issues. Article 88. Whenever at least 1/4 of the total members of the Islamic Consultative Assembly pose a question to the President, or any one member of the Assembly poses a question to a minister on a subject relating to their duties, the President or the minister is obliged to attend the Assembly and answer the question. This answer must not be delayed more than 1 month in the case of the President and 10 days in the case of the minister, except with an excuse deemed reasonable by the Islamic Consultative Assembly. Article 89. Members of the Islamic Consultative Assembly can interpellate the Council of Ministers or an individual minister in instances they deem necessary. Interpellations can be tabled if they bear the signatures of at least 10 members. The Council of Ministers or
I'm just debating. Hold on. Who did they say these guys were? I'll pull this up later. Let me pull this up. I want to see. I'm kind of curious. Islamic Consultative Assembly, known as the Iranian Parliament or Majlis, Majles. I'm not saying it right. Is the what the hell? I can't even read this. Unicameral legislative body of Iran. It is responsible for legislating laws within the boundaries defined by the Iranian Constitution. The assembly has 290 members, directly elected people for 4-year terms. Oh yeah, so we already covered that part. So the unicameral, okay, legislator, meaning it has only one chamber. Oh, that's what that means. Okay. I didn't know what I was not sure. And then the Council of Ministers these are all their elected people, but they have to be like scholars of the law. Like, very interesting. Oh, you guys, there's a lot to go here. This is going to be a 2-parter. I'm like, how many hours in and we're still going? Look, 3 hours, for crying out loud. This got to be part 1. Mama's getting tired. Okay. I didn't think it was going to take this long. I really, truly didn't. So we're at Article 89, and I think maybe I may stop because I'm going to read through. I'm going to actually listen to this still and try to pick out some pretty interesting things. Actually, you know what? I will do the other half of it. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe if I get time tomorrow, I'll do it. I don't know. Or Friday. I don't know. Saturday. I don't know. Maybe in the day. I don't know. Look, don't quote me on that, okay? Go read it for yourself. I'm really freaking into it. And I probably will say I want to do the rest of it because it's interesting. But this far into it, I'm just experiencing this for the first time. So I don't know where I'm going to go with this. I may look at this all day tomorrow. I don't know. I have to read something, right? So basically I'm going to try to take snapshots if I can and find some pretty interesting stuff. Also, I wanted to share with you a video. You're going to like it. Okay. Well, it's actually going to be the movie that I'm going to watch on Sunday. We're going to do a Sunday stream, and I want to watch a video, so for as far as the eye can see, I do believe I will be streaming on Sunday, and just doing it. I think I'm just going to be doing it on Rumble. But it's going to be that movie. It's free. You can go watch it. I'll pull it up here. Let me get the correct video for you before I do. And I kind of will leave you with this for what I want to watch. And you know what? I'll put the link. I think I can put the link in. I'll try to post it. And that way you can watch the movie if you want. Well, I'll put the link to the trailer that I'm going to play in there. That way you can go and search it out yourself if you really want to search it out and want to watch it before then. Otherwise, let's see. Sunday is called. There it is. I already had it. Oh, there were so many other things I wanted to share with you. Actually, you know what? Stand by one. I have it right here. I have actually a few videos. Let's see. This one. Let's see. Where's the playlist here?
Excuse me.
Hold on.
Yes.
Actually, I don't even know what some of these videos are. Hold on. You guys, this could be a weird little segue, but I have no idea. Oh, is this a Grey Poupon commercial? Shut up. Is it? Oh, no, this isn't it. But this is funny. I want to watch this. Hold on. You guys got to see this. We'll talk about this later. Hold on. What do I got in the background? I don't even know. Nothing. Okay, good. Oh, that. Okay. So I'm going to save those. I want to save those so that I know where I left off. Let's pull this over. That should bring the sound in. There. Let's watch these. I got some. I don't know what I've got. I just have some videos for streaming. I might just click through them, huh? Let me get out of the way. Can't see. All right. I got to mute myself. I'm going to mute myself, you guys.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to clarify something for the jurors. There are two Hoffmans in this courtroom, the defendant, Abby Hoffman, and myself, Judge Julius Hoffman.
Thank you, sir.
I didn't want there to be confusion on the matter.
Man, I don't think there's much chance they're gonna mix us up.
You will address this court as judge or your honor, and you will not address this court until... You will not address this court!
The defendants would tell you they represent three different groups.
And the record should reflect that defendant Hoffman and I are not related.
Father, no.
Mr. Hoffman, are you familiar with contempt of court?
It's practically a religion for me, sir.
あの時の外人さんだ。外人さん。What? I think I have seen you. Me? Yeah, you missed the train on May 20th.
Yeah, that's true. And I lost everything. My wallet, my phone, my watch, everything was gone.
No. This is Japan.
What does that mean?
I kept them.
Really?
Yeah. Your wallet.
Yeah, that's my wallet, man.
And
wow, it has all the money and everything. This is
and
amazing.
smartphone.
Yes, thank you, man.
And watch.
Yes, thank you very much.
And this one.
Whoa! Thank you very much, man. I thought it was stolen.
No. I'm not Chinese.
This worker is impressive. Look how he installs the pieces of plywood on that sloping roof. The most impressive thing is that he does not wear safety harnesses and the work does well. What do you think?
This is a Fremen wind trap. They trap and collect water moisture from the air and funnel it down into a water collection basin. Sounds totally fictional, but it's actually inspired by real structures called bargeels. They're used in hot, arid regions to cool buildings. They essentially catch the wind, funnel it downward, and the pressure difference pushes the hot air out of the building. Sometimes they're paired with an underground channel transporting water called kanats, cooling the air before it circulates. Although this is pretty ancient technology, some modern buildings have used it successfully, with great results. In this case, they were able to completely avoid a mechanical AC unit.
What is persuasion? We're going to take a look at a definition of persuasion, explain what it's not, and where you might see it in your life. So let's get into it.
Well, this is actually something that I was going to save for my Sunday stream, so you can't watch that one. But it's very good. It's about persuasion and stuff like that because, well, you'll have to hear that message on Sunday and talk about it. But it's very cool. Anyways, let's see, where's the... how do I get to the next one? How do I get to the next one on the list? Here we go. Oh, here's the crash course. We were going to do this. Oh, this is the other couple things. You know what? I'm not going to bed yet. I got to do this. You got to see this. I don't care. Put me on pause. See me later. Whatever. I don't care. This is the good stuff right here.
Hi, I'm John Green. This is Crash Course World History, and today we're talking about Iran. Oh, Mr. Green, I know that country. It's in the Middle East. It's with Egypt. No, me from the past. We're going to talk about Iran. Now, I used to be you, so I remember when you would look at this part of the world and you would be like, oh yeah, that's a thing. And in your case, that thing extended more or less from, I guess, like Western China to like Poland. Then you'd make a bunch of broad generalizations about that area and no doubt use the terms Arab and Muslim interchangeably. But as usual, me from the past, the truth resists simplicity. So today we are going to talk about Iran, and just Iran, specifically the 1979 Iranian Revolution. So the 1979 Iranian Revolution and its aftermath are often seen by detractors as the first step in the creation of an isolated fundamentalist state that supports terrorism, and you might be surprised to hear me say that there is some truth to that interpretation. That said, the way you think about the Iranian Revolution depends a lot on which part of it you're looking at, and regardless, it's very important because it represents a different kind of revolution from the ones that we usually talk about. So the 1979 uprisings were aimed at getting rid of the Pahlavi dynasty, which sounds like impressive, but this dynasty had only had two kings, Reza Shah and Mohammad Reza Shah. Before the Pahlavis, Iran was ruled by the Qajar dynasty, and before that, the Safavids. The Safavids and Qajars were responsible for two of the most important aspects of Iran. The Safavids made Shia Islam the official state religion, starting with Ismail I in 1501, and the Qajars gave the Muslim clergy, the ulama, political power. So most of the world's Muslims are Sunnis, but the Shia, or Shiites, are an important sect that began very early on, around 680 CE, and today form the majority of Muslims in Iran and Iraq. Now, within both Sunni and Shia, there are further divisions and many sects, but we're just going to talk about like the historical difference between the two. Shia Muslims believe that Ali should have been the first caliph. Sunni Muslims think that Abu Bakr, who was the first caliph, was rightly chosen. Since that disagreement, there have been many others, many doctrinal differences, but what's most important is that from the very beginning, Shia Muslims saw themselves as the party of the oppressed, standing up against the wealthy and powerful, and hearkening back to the social justice standard that was set by the Prophet. And this connection between religious faith and social justice was extremely important to the Iranian Revolution in 1979, and also to previous revolutions in Iran. This is really crucial to understand because many historians argue that the Iranian Revolution represents what the journalist Christian Carroll called an odd fusion of Islam and late 20th century revolutionary politics. But actually, in the scheme of Iranian history, it's not so odd. Because 1979 was not Iran's first revolution. The first major one was in 1906. It forced the ruling Qajars to accept a constitution. It created a parliament and supposedly some limits on the king and made Shia Islam the official state religion, but it also protected the rights of minorities in Iran. It ultimately failed partly because the clergy withdrew their support, partly because the Shah worked very actively against it, and maybe most importantly because the Russians and the British worked to keep Persia weak so they could continue to try to dominate the region. Which reminds me that most people in Iran are not Arabs, they are Persian. And most people in Iran don't speak Arabic, they speak Farsi, or as we often call it in English, Persian. So after World War I, European rivalries really heated up because of the discovery of oil in the Middle East. The British established the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company, which would later come to be known as BP. They also extracted a bunch of concessions from the Iranian government, in addition to extracting lots of oil. And they helped to engineer a change in...
Oh, you guys know I'm never gonna look at a BP again without knowing that now. Isn't that interesting? Created by British Columbia and... Is that what you said? Oh, British. Oh, no. The British established the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company. Is that what? So after World War I, European rivalries really heated up because of the discovery of the oil. Yeah. But then that was the whole thought process. They didn't like extracting all the, and people were getting rich. This is going on in the 70s. And so all of a sudden, that's why the Ayatollah was like, you can't do that's not right. And they had a moral I mean, he convinced everybody that, you can't have too much. And honestly, I don't know what to say. God would bless us with our cups overflowing. I mean, they had so many flocks that they would split into and go in opposite directions as kinsmen and say, look, which way you go, I'll go the opposite direction. That way you will have enough land for your stuff. And, because we got to split, this is just too much together. But they parted as friends and family. Not as, I'm good, it sounds really interesting. Boy, oh boy. It's interesting to, see some. I mean, I take a lot of this with a grain of salt. I don't know that, this is one, but it actually aligns with a lot of other things that I've been reading. So I'm sure if there's an opinion in there, then you got to really be careful. And, just like I said, you got to just use caution because there's so much stuff out there. The way one person sees it is not the way the other people see it. And this is the way that the Ayatollah, with that constitution and that preamble and all that stuff that was written with the intent of saying, hey, this is our side of the story. This is how we've seen it as, 98.2% of the country. I'm shocked at that, but you know what? It's possible. It's totally possible. So they maybe thought they'd try the Ayatollah thing, but then they couldn't. Then all of a sudden their lives changed. Yeah. It gets real interesting.
BP. They also extracted a bunch
Sorry. Hold on.
of concessions from the Iranian government, in addition to extracting lots of oil. And they helped to engineer a change in dynasty by supporting the military commander Reza Khan in his coup in February 1921. Reza Khan became Reza Shah, and then he attempted to turn Persia, which he renamed Iran in 1935, into a modern, secular, Western-style state, kind of like Turkey was under Ataturk. But Reza Shah is perhaps best remembered for his over-the-top dictatorial repression, which turned the clergy against him. Okay, so during World War II, Reza Shah abdicated, and his young son Mohammad Reza Shah became the leader of Iran, which he remained mostly until 1979, when he definitely stopped being the leader of Iran. So after World War II, the British allowed greater popular participation in Iran's government. The main party to benefit from this openness was Tudeh, the Iranian Communist Party. Mohammad Mossadegh was elected prime minister in 1951 and led the parliament to nationalize Iran's oil industry, and that was the end of the democratic experiment. Now, most history books say that in 1953, the British and the CIA engineered a coup to remove Mossadegh from office. And that is quite possibly true. It is definitely true that we tried to engineer a coup. It's also true that Mossadegh quit and fled Iran following demonstrations against him. But we also know that the Shia clergy encouraged those demonstrations. That's a bit of a weird decision for the clergy, considering that Shia Islam traditionally takes a radical stance against oppression. But it's important to remember that Mossadegh was supported by the Tudeh party, and they were communists. Nationalization of the oil industry was one thing, but a further shift toward communism might mean appropriation of the land that supported the clergy, maybe even a rejection of religion altogether. So now we've seen two occasions where the Shia clergy's support helped facilitate change, right? In 1906 and again in 1953. So let's flash ahead to 1979. The Shah was definitely an autocrat, and he employed a ruthless secret police called the Savak to stifle dissent. In 1975, the Shah abolished Iran's two political parties and replaced them with one party, the Resurgence Party. You'll never guess who was resurging. the Shah. There was a huge round of censorship and arrests and torture of political prisoners, signaling that autocracy was in Iran to stay. But before those events in 1975, say between 1962 and 1975, by most economic and social measures, Iran saw huge improvements. In 1963, the Shah had tried to institute what he called a white revolution, top-down modernization led by the monarchy, and in many ways he was successful, especially in improving industry and education.
Oh. The White Revolution. The Shah tried to institute what he called the White Revolution. Top-down modernization led by the monarchy. And in many ways was successful, especially in improving industry and education. It's 1963. It's interesting. Of course. What's the White Revolution? What the hell's that? Never even heard of that. Did I? Have I? Well, let me tell you. I'm going to mute myself.
Oil revenues rose from $555 million in 1964 to $20 billion in 1976. And the Shah's government invested a lot of that money in infrastructure and education. The population grew, infant mortality fell, a new professional middle class arose. But the White Revolution wasn't universally popular. For instance, it was opposed by one particular Shia cleric, the Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. Khomeini spoke out against the White Revolution from the religious center of Iran, Qom. One of his main complaints was that the reforms would grant more rights to women, including the right to vote, but he also attacked the government for, quote, the rigging of elections and other constitutional abuses.
Ladies! Oh, we're silent when you need her. What'd she think of that? No vote.
Neglect of the poor, and the sale of oil to Israel. And in general, Khomeini felt that a king's power was inherently un-Islamic and that Shia tradition was to fight that power. That noted about Khomeini, the 1979 revolution didn't start out to create an Islamic state. At first, it was a pretty typical uprising by dissatisfied Iranians to overthrow a government that they perceived as corrupt and unresponsive to their needs. In spite of, or arguably because of, oil-fueled economic growth, many Iranians weren't enjoying economic success. The universities were turning out more graduates than there were jobs, and the mechanization of agriculture had the predictable result of displacing farmers who moved to cities, especially the capital city of Tehran, where there weren't nearly enough jobs for the number of people. So I think it's unfair to say that a majority of the demonstrators who took to the streets in late 1978 were motivated by a fundamentalist vision of Islam. They were dissatisfied with economic inequality and political repression and a corrupt regime. So why do we generally remember the 1979 revolution as having been motivated by Shia Islam? Well, let's go to the thought bubble. So the initial demonstrations did begin after an Iranian newspaper on January 7, 1978 published an article that was critical of Khomeini. By the way, at the time he was living in Paris. These initial demonstrations were pretty small, but when the government...
He was exiled. He was exiled to Paris, apparently. He was living in Paris, or was he exiled there? We'll have to look that up later, folks.
Government police and army forces started firing on demonstrators, killing some of them. The protests grew. Each time marchers protested against the violent treatment of demonstrators, the government would crack down, and their violent reaction would spur more demonstrations. There was also a lot of criticism of the West tied up in the revolution. According to one woman who participated, American lifestyles had come to be imposed as an ideal, the ultimate goal. Americanism was the model. American popular culture, books, magazines, film had swept over our country like a flood. We found ourselves wondering, is there any room for our own culture? The Shah never understood why so many people were protesting against him. He thought that they were communists or being supported by the British. He also thought that merely bringing prosperity would be enough to keep him in power. It wasn't. On January 16, 1979, he left Iran. He eventually ended up in the US, which had unfortunate consequences for diplomatic relations between the US and Iran. But the point here is that the first part of the Iranian Revolution was relatively peaceful protests followed by a government crackdown down more protests that eventually led to the collapse of the monarchy. And that looks kind of familiar, especially if you've studied like the French or Russian or even the American revolutions. And most historians argue these protests weren't about Islam, but rather the discontent over living conditions, pay cuts, and the threat of unemployment fused with the general disillusionment and anger with the regime. The government that eventually replaced the monarchy was the second, and in many ways much more revolutionary revolution. Thanks, Thought Bubble. So the new Islamic Republic of Iran was based on Khomeini's idea about what an Islamic government should be, a principle he called Velayat-e-Faqih. Mainly, it was that a Sharia law scholar would have ultimate authority because he was more knowledgeable than anyone about law and justice. There would be a legislature and a president and a prime minister, but any of their decisions could be overturned by the supreme ruler, who from 1979 until his death was Khomeini. Now, if democracy is only about holding elections, then the new Iran was a democracy. I mean, Iran has elections, both for president and for the parliament. And for the record, despite what Khomeini might have thought in the 60s, women can vote in Iran, and they do. They also serve in the parliament and in the president's cabinet. And in the referendum on whether to create an Islamic Republic of Iran, the vast majority of Iranians, in a free and open vote, voted yes. Now, governance in Iran is extremely complicated, too complicated for one crash course video. But in one sense, at least, Iran is definitely not a democracy. The ultimate authority written into the constitution is not the will of the people, but God, who is represented by the supreme religious leader. And the actions of the Islamic Republic, especially in the early chaotic days of 1979, but also many times since, don't conform to most ideas of effective democracy. Like, one of the first things that Khomeini did to shore up his support was to create the Islamic Revolutionary Guards and Hezbollah to defend the revolution against coup attempts. Although initially there were opposition parties, their activities were curtailed by the new revolutionary courts that applied Sharia law in a particularly harsh fashion. Like, it's estimated that by October 1979, several hundred people had been executed. And under the new constitution, Khomeini was given extensive power. I mean, he could appoint the heads of the armed services and the Revolutionary Guard and the national TV and radio stations. He also approved the candidates for presidential elections and appointed 6 of the 12 members of the Guardian Council that approved legislation from the parliament before it became law. So structurally, Iran's government looked kind of like other governments, but as Michael Axworthy points out, it was different because, quote, above and beyond stood the Faqih, with the power and the responsibility to intervene directly in the name of Islam, indeed with powers greater.
I ain't letting it go. Like, that word comes up again, Faqih. Sorry. Okay. God.
Than those given to most monarchs in constitutional monarchies. By 1979, Iran already had a long history of clerical involvement in protest and dynamic change, but it also had a long history of pushing for constitutions and liberty. The current end result is the Islamic Republic of Iran, but it's worth remembering that both those threads of history are still part of Iranian life. Like, we saw that in 2009 and 2010 with the so-called Green Revolution, where there were huge protests after an Iranian election. Those protests involved young people arguing for more rights and liberties, but they were also led by and encouraged by reformist Shia clerics. In the US, we mostly remember the 1979 Iranian Revolution for its burning of American flags and taking of hostages in the American embassy. That belonged more to the second phase of the revolution, the chaotic period when the Islamic Republic was being born. Life in the Islamic Republic of Iran remains highly repressive. I mean, for instance, Iran still executes a very high percentage of criminals. But it's inaccurate to say that Iran is merely a dictatorship or that it's merely repressive. And one of the challenges for people in the West trying to understand Iran is that we have to disentangle the various aspects of the revolution rather than simply relying on the images that have defined it for us. I hope this episode can help a little. You can find more resources in the links below. Thanks for watching. Crash Course is filmed here in the Chad and Stacey Emigholt studio in Indianapolis, and it's made possible because of the hard work of all of these people. Thank you for watching, and as we say in my hometown, don't forget to be awesome.
I posted it in Rumble. I'm sorry. I was sitting here talking to you guys, but you didn't hear me. I posted it in Rumble. Posted that link in Rumble so that I have it later. I'll add it to the description later because I don't know if I can do it right now. I don't want to mess with it. So there's one other video. Well, I think there was one or two. There's two more videos I know for sure. But this is one. And then this was the... Oh, this one. I'm not going to watch the whole thing. I kind of was watching the first part of it. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I haven't seen the rest of this. So let's pick up where I left off.
Gonna be honest with you guys. I'm ignorant to this area, I know, but I didn't think it got this cold out here. It's pretty chilly. It's pretty chilly. You can see the flags, you see the wind blowing. And I did not think it rained here. That was a surprise to me. I did not think it rained here. Oh, okay. And this is where we're going to have lunch. So you have different styles. If you want to sit on the left, sit down. You have a fountain right there. I guess this is for large groups. And obviously on the right, they have chairs as well. Beautiful.
Actually, we are in a traditional tea house. In this tea house, actually, the tea and some traditional foods are served. So, and we have some paintings here. These paintings are about the Persian stories. Some of them are Persian love stories. Yeah, these stories are very, very famous for local people. Yeah, and there is a fountain in the middle of this traditional tea house.
Yep. All right, guys, time to dig in. We got a quick backstory. Now it's time to dig in. The food has come. I don't know what this is, but obviously he's gonna explain it.
Okay. So firstly, I should separate the liquid from the materials. Hope I don't make a mess. So
you separate the liquid.
So let's see what are the materials. Actually, it's lamb, pieces of lamb, potato, and peas, beans, and a little bit of fat. I don't like fat.
I don't.
Yeah, you
no,
don't like?
Yeah.
So for eating the liquid, we should put some pieces of bread, small pieces of bread, into this, like this.
Okay, break pieces of bread into the liquid.
The materials must be mashed.
Okay.
Like this. To make it like a paste.
Okay.
Also, this one is eaten by bread. We can put a little piece of this paste and a piece of bread and enjoy.
Oh man!
It is just made of yogurt and water and some salt and some herbs.
Okay.
Mostly mint. The herbs. It is mostly basil.
Okay.
Yeah, it is basil. And it is pickles.
Oh yeah.
And it is shallot yogurt.
Okay.
Shallot.
Okay.
It is mixed with shallot.
Okay. Yeah, I filled it up with bread. Now I have to soak it. This is great on a cold day, man. Now it's time to try the paste. And for the record, here you can eat with both hands. Okay, I've also seen there's some people on my right, they're using both hands. Just to let you guys know. I'm gonna try this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it.
But the taste is different because it has pieces of shallot. You know shallot? It's like garlic.
Okay. I thought this would be more like aioli, garlic sauce, but this is, he said it's shallot. Hold on, let me show you guys. He says this is more of a shallot sauce. Now, this isn't bad. This is good. I can eat that right there. It's light, creamy. I can mess with that right there. So guys, let me put the camera down and just enjoy this right now, man. We'll talk afterwards. Pretty much destroyed it. We had to order another one. Oh man. Remember, I'm not a big fan of the yogurt drink. Got that right there. It's just it's definitely different. It's delicious. It's different flavor profiles. So this is super sour. This is very minty. It's basil. These flavors, it's just like a stew. Well, you guys saw how it was prepared. And you use this bread. And I was told this is called stone bread because it's made in the oven. They put it on top of stones. So it's very popular. You'll see this bread everywhere. Delicious stuff right, guys. And then we're going to finish off with the tea.
To drink, it's the traditional cup, and it is called saucer, cup and saucer for drinking tea in Iran. And traditionally, we drink tea with cube sugar. But as you see, it's very hot now. What's the usage of saucer? When it is very hot, we can pour the tea into the saucer. Then it's cool. Now we can easily drink it. The tea here is very hot. We cannot drink easily. But this one is now cool because it is in the saucer. It's a big area. So we put the cube sugar.
Oh wow! Oh, hold on.
In front of the on the tip of the tongue in front, and when the tea is passing through the cube sugar, it gets sweet like this.
Oh man, guys, if I try that out, I'm gonna spill it all over my shirt. I know. Yeah, that's like fried dough drowned in syrup. So it's a lot heavier, a lot thicker than it looks. I thought it was gonna be fluffy, but it's not because of the syrup. But it's good. I can eat these by itself without the tea. I can just snack on these. This is delicious. Guys, we're headed to a different neighborhood. We're in the north right now. Said that the north is sort of the richer side and the south is the not so rich side. So let me know if things look different. Guys, and as we walk through, a few things I want to bring up that I found out from trying to read as much as I can about Iran. I know you guys know Turkey's supposed to be, or maybe it is, the hair transplant capital of the world. Well, can you guys guess what is which country is the nose surgery capital of the world? If you guys guess Iran, you're correct. So, a lot of people come here, I've heard internationally as well, for nose surgeries. I think the medical term is rhinoplasty. That's a very popular thing. And also,
Did I just see a kiosk for rhinoplasty? I'm just kidding.
now let me let these people pass. And also, if you go to Thailand, I'm sure many of you all have heard that in Thailand they have a lot of hold on. A lot of surgeries as far as I forgot the term for it, but a male having surgery to try to become a female. So YouTube, yeah, YouTube. I'm trying to use certain words. I don't know if I'll get banned or how YouTube does that, but
I don't believe that. This guy in jail, is he even alive anymore?
basically surgeries to gender reaffirming. I think that's the term. But anyways, which I did not know, so that's pretty interesting.
Nah, no way. I'm looking it up. No way. No way. What is a common surgery in Iran? Hold on. Gastric by other procedures. Others is frequently performed. Don't think, dude, I don't think so. Do they do gender reassignment surgeries in Iran? Somebody messing with this guy. What? Have become notable center for these. What? Was legalized in Iran following a religious decree fatwa issued by by the Ayatollah? Fatwa? What the oh my God. What does this tell you? You know what? I can't. Jesus, help me. I'm looking that up. I don't even know what this word means. What? A fatwa is a non-binding legal opinion. Okay, so, okay. Oh, I thought they called that something else. Issued by a qualified Islamic jurist, a mufti. It's a response to a question about Islamic law. And while not mandatory, fatwas can carry significant weight and influence within the Muslim community. Oh, especially when carrying out. Never mind. You know, come on. Okay, fatwa can address a wide range of topics from personal hygiene to marital relations to ethical questions and legal disputes. Huh? Who uses it? It's given by Mufti, a scholar who is an expert in Islamic law, Sharia, an expert in. This is all Sharia law. Okay. In a nutshell, what is Sharia law? A comprehensive Islamic legal and ethical system derived from the Quran. So it was by Muhammad. In what year? This is. And interpretations by Islamic scholars. It guides Muslims on various aspects of life, including religious practices, personal conduct, and social interaction. I think they said since the 1500s. I think that's what they were saying. I could be wrong on that. Anyways, Muslim majority countries' interpretations and applications vary widely. Sharia is not just a set of laws, but also a moral and ethical framework. Hold on. Let me look at something. Okay. Moral and ethical framework. Where did I leave off? That emphasizes justice, fairness, and compassion. It's based on the Quran, the holy book of Islam, the Sunnah, the Prophet Muhammad's example, and scholarly interpretations called fiqh. Remember, those are what we would call like case law. Precedent, past precedent. All right, Sharia covers a wide range of areas, including religious rituals, prayer, fasting, pilgrimage. Okay, so now just understand this, everybody, that in Iran you are subject to the Sharia law. They adopted Sharia law 98% of the country at the time. In 1978, I guess, or no, 1989, I think. What was it? 78? God, I don't remember. Okay, go back and look. God, it's been a long night. Okay, but it's interesting. I'm just gonna read this anyway, so may as well share it with you guys. So anyways, it goes on to morality, ethics, social interactions, marriage, divorce, inheritance, regulations on interest, investments, and business practices. Some countries use Sharia-derived punishments for certain crimes, though interpretations vary. Different interpretations and schools of thought within Islam lead to diverse applications of Sharia. Oh, how interesting. So it's not Sharia is not static. Its interpretations and applications have evolved over time and continue to do so. Okay, so there's no single document like the Ten Commandments that encapsulates Sharia. Different Muslim communities understand and apply it in their own ways. While Sharia can influence national laws, it's primarily concerned with personal religious observance. I believe in the Dead Sea Scrolls, they did have the Book of the Law, I believe is what it was called, or at least translated that way. I think that's what it was. We have to look that up sometime too. So much to do on this. Different Muslim communities understand and apply it in their own ways. While Sharia can influence national laws, it's primarily concerned with personal religious observance. However, this is what is that right? Okay. All right, yes. What type of law governs Iran? Sharia, Islamic law. All laws and regulations in Iran must be based on Islamic criteria and an official interpretation of Sharia. Civil law influence on many aspects like family law and inheritance rules are derived from Islamic law. Other areas like civil law procedures, criminal law procedures, and commercial law draw inspiration from the civil law system. The Guardian Council, made up of religious scholars and jurists, plays a crucial role in ensuring all the laws passed by Parliament are in accordance with Sharia and the Constitution. The Iranian court system follows an inquisitorial model, similar to one found in France, where the judge plays a more active role in investigating cases and determining verdicts. Specialized courts. Iran also has specialized courts such as revolutionary courts and special clerical courts, which handle specific types of cases. Okay, so that's interesting. I mean, I knew that about like the Guardian Council. I don't. That's just a little synopsis, but breaking it down, what type? How about this? Is there a specific version of Sharia Islamic law that Iran follows? Oh, okay. Iran officially follows the Jafari school of Islamic jurisprudence, and we read that. So that is in their constitution or in their preamble or whatever, and the stuff leading up to it. So, okay, I can believe that. I actually got the information from ChatGPT, and this is Google. So switching it up, and they're coinciding, which is pretty good. But then, of course, we've also got those videos, the video that we watched a little earlier about Iran. Anyways, let me leave you with this. Hold on, let me get it. I'm going to pull it up over here because it's just that much easier. Hold on. I thought that I put it in my play later, but I know it's in my history. So let me find it. Really, G. History. My history, maybe? Who do I have to write? What do I have to do? Oh, here you go. View mine. Home. Okay. Okay, here you go. Oh! This was kind of interesting too. Oh my God, you guys, there's so much. There is so much. Who look at this. The last empress that was on the throne when it was overthrown in 1979. They had something. Oh my gosh, you gotta see this. Hold on, let me just show you. There's so many really good ones here. Oops, what do we got here? State visit of the Shah of Iran. This is before it was overthrown. This is much different. Okay. Now, I don't know if you know this, but oh, this is interesting. I wonder what this says. I didn't watch these. Why is that in my history? Is it just going through things? I don't know. Interesting. Well, anyways, let's find. There it is. Trailer. Here's the trailer. I had to mute myself, guys. Have a beautiful night. See you guys maybe tomorrow. I don't know. There's so much more to learn. You guys, Sunday we're gonna watch this movie. If I don't do it sooner. But this is interesting because this is Persia. About 500 years before Christ. Okay? So here we go. This is a great movie. I've seen it. But let's watch the trailer. Let me see. Mute.
An empire on the brink of war.
The money may be raised by the confiscation of Jewish wealth and property. First, we must kill them all. Every last one of them.
An orphan who became a queen.
Suppose, my lady, a man offered you the kingdom.
The only gift I would accept is your heart.
I should give you a different name. Esther of Susa. A secret that could change everything. If you reveal this to anyone, you will surely perish.
Then it perish.
This fall, she found the courage. And by faith,
This is my past, my present, and my future. All of it is yours.
they found their destiny. Luke Goss, John Rhys Davies, John Noble, with Peter O'Toole, Omar Sharif, and introducing Tiffany DuPont. One Night with the King.
So watching that on Sunday. You guys, go watch it. It's a really good show. It's a good movie. I'll share the link. Copy. I'm sharing it in Rumble. So if you want the link, go to Rumble. My Rumble's there somewhere. I can't, for some reason, it's not posting my comments on stinking StreamYard because it's being stupid. I don't know why. It's not showing it, and that's fine. Oh, my phone's dead, so I can't even go on there on my phone. So nobody call me. All right, good night, you guys. Love you. I'll see you later. Go rewind. Go find some more stuff. Tell me what you guys find out. Okay. I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys later. Wait, where's my thingy? Oh, there it is.